Oh, Charlie! I'm respecting your privacy by knocking, but asserting my authority as your business partner by coming in anyway.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mondo.
Yo.
Not so long ago,
Gizmo
in
comes
the
in.
mysterious land of Toronto,
Gizmo.
Canada.
How's
Perfect
it
timing.
going, everyone? Right? Excellent timing. Excellent timing, Gizmo. Welcome in, everyone. So a little bit of a different thing tonight. Less prepared than normal because I put in a little bit of effort to I wanted to talk about hockey, and we're going to talk about hockey, which is why Mondo's here, because I need a sounding board. I need someone to keep me in check, and I need someone to be, without offending anyone. Is it like the straight man? Like he has all the he has all the knowledge, and I'm just here because I love hockey, but I'm so out of the loop.
I have all the knowledge. We're cooked, y'all. It's over. Pack it in.
This is my audition tape for an NHL hockey analyst. Everyone remember this day in history.
Love it. We see in casual on the NHL Network next season.
I mean, I got to be better than Biz Nasty or whatever his name is. Paul Bissonnette.
That bar is so low, bro.
Right.
That bar is so low.
You know what's
Oh,
funny? I saw a video on like Instagram or whatever of like Paul Bissonnette saying how much he respected um Gretzky and like being coached by Gretzky and all this stuff. And then
yeah.
like what a couple weeks ago at the Four Nations tournament, he was saying how much he was just like he just hated everything that he did there and how he didn't represent Canada. And in just a couple months difference was just wild to me.
Things go fast when you're biz nasty, I guess.
Yeah, totally. He gets his podcast platform. I don't know. Maybe instead of starting on NHL Network, he wants to bring me on. Who knows?
I like
Show me
it.
what's up.
I like it.
Show me how to do it, I guess.
I mean, if there's anyone to learn from, show you
Right?
the ropes.
Right? I don't drink Pink Whitney though, so I don't know if they'll let me.
Oh, yeah, that's a non-starter. We gotta change that.
Mm-hmm. Brad opening up for hockey next season. I have no idea what's going on. Right? Thank you, Cad, and welcome in, Cad. How's it going?
Kat, if this is going like I think it's going to go, you're going to know everything about hockey from a different source after this is over.
100%. You're gonna be like, now we have to go fact check Brad.
Oh, that was wrong, and that was wrong.
Yeah, 100%.
Mondo said that was super wrong.
People who don't even know it's wrong. It's fine.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, let's do a little jump over to I have to go to this one. Yo, it works.
That's perfect.
So what I want to do today and why Mondo is here is because so as I told Mondo earlier today, like NHL trade deadline day was a religious holiday to me in the past. I would book it off work. I would stay at home. I would chat with friends all day, and I'd have like TSN, which is like the sports network in Canada, the main kind of source, always up on the TV, and I was refreshing the webpage and I was watching for all the trades, and it was like 8 hours of just like all hockey for the day. Today I did not care less, or I could not care less. Doesn't matter. But now we're here and we're with Mondo and we get to hang out and run through the trades that happened. And we can actually take a look and have some commentary on it. My day started off with Mondo messaging me about this trade specifically, about Brock Nelson being traded yesterday, which is a major trade according to TSN, which is the website I'm showing. Well, why is it a major trade? Who the heck is Brock Nelson? Which was my response.
Well, first and foremost, I was kind of upset at this trade because, as you see, this came in yesterday evening. Today, like you were saying, Casual, this is hallowed ground. This is supposed to be the day that the big trades happen. What are they doing this trade yesterday? It just ruined everything. It ruined the whole flow.
Right? Like, why would you start off with, one team? And just maybe we should kind of explain here, like just for anyone who doesn't know, in this trade, on this screen, this means that Colorado Avalanche got those two characters and the New York Islanders got those four things, and that's how the trade works, and that's how it's going to be laid out. I don't know if I needed to explain that, but I don't know, it could be confusing for someone who's not aware. So the New York Islanders traded Brock Nelson, who's been he was drafted by them, I think. He's been with them for his entire career. He's like 33 years old now, and now he's chasing a Stanley Cup, and that's what they're doing to like move him. And interestingly enough, going back the other way, please explain everything for the pleb. I will. Sif, I'm so happy that you're here, I'll be honest, because you joined us for the Four Nations like US Canada game, and you were so passionate without knowing a single thing, and I love that. So
Sif was lit. It was so good.
It was so good. And now you're learning, and I love that you're here for it. And we can, you know what? Maybe today we'll find you an NHL team. Maybe through this we'll find you something that you can root for. And hopefully it's not Anaheim, because that would be terrible.
Yeah. 31 great teams to choose from. 30 if you don't include like the Blackhawks.
There's There's like 12 great teams to choose from.
That's fair. That's super fair.
But okay. So what happened here is the Colorado Avalanche, which is a fantastic star-studded team. They're loading up. They're looking for players who have like great experience. I'm inclined to Anaheim because of the cartoon. Okay. Well, when we get to an Anaheim trade, we'll talk about why not.
Yeah, there are a few reasons there.
Yeah. So they traded they got the Brock Nelson, a center who it's gonna add a lot of depth for them after they just lost one of their main scorers. They just traded away one of their main scorers and Mikko Rantanen, who we'll see a little bit later up here. We'll talk about him a little bit later. Some things happened. I don't know if this is really like the piece that's gonna help them win another Stanley Cup. Mondo, thoughts?
I think it is going to help a lot. I think Brock Nelson is a guy that brings a lot of size. He's 6'4", he's 205 pounds. He's a guy that plays heavy. He's one of those, like, it's usually the unheralded pickups that will kind of be the deciding factor, I feel like, at least in recent past, of a cup winner. And Brock Nelson isn't a guy who's going to light up the score sheet. He's not a guy who you're going to look at and say, oh, he's going to score 2,000 goals and 8,000 assists. But he's going to be consistent, and he's been consistent his entire career. I think this is his 12th season in the league. He's going to play a good amount of minutes. He's averaging almost 20 minutes a game this year. And he's the kind of guy that you look at and say, I know your ceiling and I know your floor and I know exactly what I'm getting out of you week after week, month after month, especially in the playoffs.
Well, I'll just shut up then. No.
I was reading off a prompt. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I asked Mondo if he wanted to just come in really quick because this is going to be kind of scuffed. And he's like, sure, but he has a full prompt to read. He's already done all the research.
I'm getting lucky. This is all off the dome, so I'm hoping that I can find something intelligent to say in 10 seconds.
All right, so we're fact checking Mondo after. Got it.
Please do.
But yeah, and like to your point, yeah, he's not going to be that first or second line guy. He's not going to put up all those points. He's going to provide some secondary scoring. He's going to grind hard. He's going to be out there bumping and banging, other bodies, and he's going to be a good, solid playoff pickup. Now, what they gave up in Callum Ritchie, I think a younger forward, and Oliver Shillington. I think was he even playing right now? Probably like last pairing defense. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be totally honest.
I thought he might have been like injured or something, or just he doesn't have a high trade value at the moment. So I would say more within that. You brush your teeth and ready to tune in fully. Excellent, Sif. Excellent.
Awesome. Love to see it.
Yeah. So I'd say probably more like the Callum Ritchie and the first and third round picks are probably what New York was really looking for. And not to say that knowing the future. But if we do shift up a little bit into the next trade, we do see that the New York Islanders have flipped, not just barely, exactly half an hour later, Oliver Shillington to the Anaheim Mighty Ducks for future considerations. Now, what are future considerations?
The most traded player in sports history,
yeah,
is what future considerations is.
That is one way to describe future considerations. Definitely the most traded player. Always been a really good sport. Never really blocked a trade. Never put his ego above the team. Was always ready to move on when no longer useful for them. So yeah, excellent return for the Islanders, getting future considerations onto their team that they will eventually be able to move in their future.
I've always wondered, and I won't waste time on this because I could go down a rabbit hole, but if there is any sort of restriction around that with future considerations, meaning that that's exactly what it sounds like. We will give you something of value in the future for this guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love to go down that rabbit hole one day and be like, what actually happens here? because again, to like reference back to like a Wayne Gretzky, like, and that kind of era, you would see a lot more of like cash transactions within the NHL.
Right.
You don't see that anymore because cash is at a premium. There's no extra cash. There's a salary cap, and there's like no way really to do that unless you're like retaining salary, which is like the caveat on that. And we'll see that too probably at some point during these trades, and we can talk a little bit more about salary retention and what that means. But but yeah, so New York Islanders, as I said, the Callum Ritchie, the first, the third, that was really the prize for Brock Nelson, I would say. And they've moved on pretty quickly from Oliver Shillington, who used to play for the Calgary Flames. He had a pretty respectable career with the Flames. I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, trade value pretty low right now. Crazy.
I definitely remember him with the Flames
Mhm.
back in the day when we would play them, and just looking at his name, because you see that name and there's no sh in that name.
Right.
That they've got to be wrong with the pronunciation. No, it's Shillington.
Woo, Flames! Get out of here, man.
Was it the Red Sea? Is that right?
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
Michael with a B. But Michael, got it.
Perfect.
Um,
Would
moving
not be surprised.
along, are we good here? We've talked enough about Oliver Shillington. We can
I
move on
think
from his
so.
silly
I
name.
think so.
The Red Mile. Oh yeah, it was the Red Mile.
Oh, my apologies to the Flames.
No.
Oh, the Sea of Red. That's what it was.
All right, look at it. We have another major trade on March 6th at 11:06 p.m. What are they doing to you?
Sigh.
Now I do assume that this is EST rate, like, so this would be like 11:06 p.m. EST. So like at 11 or 8 o'clock last night, I would have heard about this trade, and I think I did.
Yeah. Yeah, it came like a buddy of mine and I kind of go back and forth with trades, and I think he sent this to me, and I'm like, it's not Friday. I don't want to hear about it yet. Tell
Yeah.
me tomorrow.
Totally. Totally. So Edmonton Oilers picks up another D-man. That's kind of interesting.
It's definitely a need for them. I feel like they're the team that has just perpetually a piece or two away from a Stanley Cup. And to be fair, they were a game away from a Stanley Cup last season. But yeah, this is kind of similar to Brock Nelson, not quite in the same level, but certainly a guy who's going to come in, who's going to defensively contribute, not offensively. You're probably not going to get many, if any, goals from Jake Wallman. What you are going to get, if you wanted to look at an example of someone hitting the gritty on skates,
Three
Jake
words
Wallman's
for
your
you:
guy.
treat yourself.
He did that, scoring, I believe it was his first NHL goal, which was an overtime winner when he played for Carolina a few stops ago. And it was solid. It was, I would say, 8 out of 10 gritty.
8 out of 10 gritty.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's what you're gonna get.
That's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get an 8 out of 10 gritty. He's gonna soak up some minutes. You think he's gonna play top 4 for Edmonton? Is that where he slots in?
I kind of hope not, but in looking at their roster, like, I think he kind of has to, because you have Evan Bouchard, who's their clear number one.
Yep.
You have Matthias Ekholm, who is
Clear number 2.
someone that I love, as a previous Nashville Predator, my favorite hockey team. And then you have Ty Emberson, I think, has been getting a good amount of run this year. Darnell Nurse, who might be injured, I can't remember. So I would say either second or third pairing, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really great to have a guy who can play, top 4 minutes, but you can also slot him into like bottom pairing, like 5-6 guy, and he'll still be like really great defensively and really round out your whole defense core. So yeah, seems like a good pickup. Doesn't seem like they gave up much, like Carl Berglund in a first round pick. I mean, if you're going deep in the playoffs, which Edmonton is definitely expected to do again this year, a conditional first round pick next year really doesn't mean a lot.
Yeah, you'll hear us talk a lot about windows, that the teams that are really going for it, like their window of winning because of the age of their players, because of contracts,
Yeah.
it's very narrow a lot of times. So when you have that opportunity, you have to go for it.
Mhm.
And if you don't, you're just going to be passed by every other team that is also going for it.
Yep. Now, I don't know what happened today. And we talked about, one or two pieces that they're missing. Jake Wallman might be able to do that if he can also play goalie for Edmonton. Um,
That's so true.
so,
That's so facts.
so yeah, I think that's the other piece that they're missing. So I'm really excited to see if anything happened. Like I didn't hear anything like come across my desk. That's things that people say when they talk about analysts or like trades. It didn't came across my desk. Um,
You should just
uh,
written yourself like a post-it note just so you could say, "Oh, this just came across my desk just now."
right? Like, ooh, oh my gosh, you would not believe that I just picked up another mouse.
Incredible news.
All right, so Jake Wallman, good pickup. Not much going back the other way. Conditional generally means something that uh it could really mean anything, but like there is some sort of condition of like let's say Edmonton tanks the rest of the season and they end up in like dead last somehow, even though I don't think that's physically possible or like mathematically possible. But then they end up with the first overall pick. They may block giving the first overall pick to San Jose and just keep it for themselves and then give them their next pick, like their next first overall pick in 2027. So yeah,
Yeah, that's essentially what this is.
Yeah,
It's a. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
sorry. We probably could dig into it and see, like it has the about trade and it would list all the details, but I'm not going to do that.
Well, I will close this tab that I definitely didn't have up when I looked into it.
No, this
because
is
I'm
great.
just weird.
This works perfectly. Like you definitely open up these tabs.
There's so many tabs right now. That's what hockey does to you. It's all tabs. I mean,
all tabs.
you see the thing on the ice. It's really just a browser window at the end of the day.
Yeah, totally. Next trade. First one of trade deadline day officially.
Ooh.
And again, I saw this one earlier, and I've already said my response to Mondo of, is it just me, or does Anthony Beauvillier get traded every trade deadline?
It certainly feels that way.
Like, I'm trying to think. He must have gone from Islanders to the Canucks to like Detroit to Washington and now to Pittsburgh. Like, I think I don't think it's Detroit, but I feel like there was another team in between Canucks and or whoever. Like, unless I'm thinking of someone else, but I think it's Anthony Beauvillier. I think that's the guy who unfortunately gets pushed around the league, and he's probably played for all 26 good teams now.
No, you were incredibly close. He went from the Islanders to the Canucks and then to the Blackhawks, which I don't remember, and
Must have been
then
a
to the
paper
Predators, which
transaction.
of course, yeah, pretty much.
Sorry, so Blackhawks, then the Capitals,
Then the Predators.
then the Predators.
Yeah, I barely remember him on the Predators because he did nothing. He was just kind of there.
Yeah. So when did he when was he with the Islanders?
Let's see, from 2016 till 23.
Okay. So in 2
yeah,
years he's been on 6 teams.
that's sick. That's so sick.
Outrageous.
Poor dude.
Right? Imagine if he's like married and has kids. Let's see you in the summer.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, basically, yeah.
Like,
Like
holy.
that's the part that I kind of forget about is like, these dudes are going, in some cases cross country or across countries, plural.
Yeah.
In some of these trades, like it's a lot for them.
Yeah. And like that's super heavy. Okay, so Islanders to Vancouver, Vancouver to Chicago, Chicago to Nashville, Nashville to Washington, and then Washington to Pittsburgh. At least they're in like kind of the same area, but that's a lot of miles. Holy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a short jaunt by any stretch.
I mean, there's really nothing else to say about the trade. Like, who cares? It's a guy going for a second round pick, whatever. Who moves around a lot. So, any final thoughts on Anthony Beauvillier?
Just looking forward to see what team he'll be on at the deadline next year.
Best of luck, sir.
Godspeed, Anthony Beauvillier.
All right. Next trade, Andrei Kuzmenko. Speaking of moving around a lot, Kuzmenko's been on 4 teams in the last 2 years, I think.
My goodness.
Because he was on Vancouver for a bit, then he got traded to Calgary, and then clearly he went to Philadelphia, and now he's being traded to Los Angeles. So that's kind of interesting. Like, he's not a bad player. I would say I'd rather have Kuzmenko over Anthony Beauvillier on my team.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, 3rd round pick, and you get a 7th back as well. Wow, that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I mean, I would feel that Kuzmenko has a higher trade value than Beauvillier, but what do I know? Apparently, I would take Kuzmenko in a
No.
heartbeat.
Oh yeah, to me it's not even a discussion. Absolutely.
I guess there's the factor there. Philadelphia retains 50% of Kuzmenko's salary.
Yeah,
Like,
that's pretty huge.
yeah, I don't know what he was being paid. I don't know if you had that tab
Let's
open.
see. I do. It's $5.5 million a year, so half of that would be $2.75 million that gets retained.
Okay, that's fair. I could see the lower value. Like, 5.5 million for Kuzmenko is a lot.
Mhm.
I thought he was like a $3 million guy who put up, like 15 goals, and like that would be totally reasonable as like a second line winger or a third line winger.
For sure.
But yeah.
Yeah, just to quickly touch on that, there is a limit to how much of a salary a team can retain, which is 50%. I think 50% total, right, of the salary, even if multiple teams in multiple trades will retain that. I think it's still 50%, if memory serves. It's another thing to fact check for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure because like there was okay, the original like Rantanen trade from Colorado, there was like some wonky stuff going on where it was like 50% retained by someone and then 25% of the remaining retained by someone or something like that. So it's like 65% has been retained through the trade, the three team trade or something. But I don't remember. That is just from the top of my mind. Also, team, thank you for the resub.
Yo.
You did it.
No, I trust your mind way more than my memory, so I will go with that.
That's sketchy. Ooh, here's one close to my heart. We're done with Kuzmenko. It happened. It's for a pick, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't really put the Kings in much better of a spot. I think they're still looking up at most of the playoff eligible teams. So
yeah, and like I think that's really anchored in like their best players are definitely getting older. Drew Doughty and who's their captain? Anze Kopitar.
Anze Kopitar, yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know who's in their net right now.
Oh, not Jonathan Quick. That's all I know. I can't remember who it is though.
Yeah, someone else.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. So yeah, they're not doing great. This is like this doesn't change anything for the Los Angeles Kings. They're still not going to make the playoffs, and they're looking to next year. Now,
big declaration. Kings not making the playoffs. You heard it here first.
Yep, Kings not making the playoffs. I'm calling it.
I like it.
This one's close to my heart because I'm a big Sens fan. So they were involved in some trades today. They gave up a couple pieces who I think were pieces that needed to move. I think JBD, like Jacob Bernard Docker and Josh Norris, have both really underperformed for what their contracts are and what their expected roles were. Josh Norris was making $8 million a year.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah. And like, don't get me wrong, like he had a super solid year a couple years ago. He put up something like 40 goals, and everyone thought, he was on a 100-point pace, and then he like tore his shoulder, and he was out, and he's not been the same player. Um, we're what, like
Bummer.
60 games into the season, 55 games
Yeah.
into the season. And he has 20 goals and 30 something assists. And for an $8 million player who's supposed to be your number one center, you're, that's not good enough, plain and simple.
For sure.
So moving on from him and bringing in, hopefully like a slightly overpaid, I would say, but still solid second line center in Dylan Cousins. Um, he's making 7 million, so we're saving a bit of cap space.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I like straight up that replacement. 7 million bucks for a guy who has 12 goals and like 20 assists, but brings intangibles as a power forward, mix it up guy, I would say, versus Josh Norris. So, and probably just healthier, younger, all that
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah, I think Norris has what, about 3 years or so on Cousins.
yeah, I think so. And both will be unrestricted free agents when these contracts expire, as far as I know. I think Norris, I read like 2028, I think his contract is done. So that's like 3 more years at $8 million, which is like kind of tough. And I
Yeah.
think Cousins might be a year before that, so not as long of a commitment. So
And I mean, just looking at the numbers, right? It doesn't seem like a lot. It's like it's $1 million for a salary cap that's what, somewhere between 80 and 90 million, and increasing probably every year for the foreseeable
mhm,
future.
yeah.
But that $1 million could make a huge difference in just flexibility and being able to maneuver around different contracts. On days like today, it
Mhm.
could, that $1 million could have been the big difference between being able to sign someone and not. So yeah, it's significant.
Yeah, and that's the main difference, right? Like, what do you do with $1 million? Well, when your superstar needs to re-sign, you can give that to them, and then you have like that flexibility and that comfort of being able to say, you know what, we can do that for you because we want to keep you here. You don't want to be like cash strapped, necessarily, but I don't think there's really that concern right now in Ottawa. I think most of the big names are pretty much re-signed. I feel like Jake Sanderson might be coming up, which might be pricey.
He, I think, was re-upped somewhat recently.
Was he?
Yeah, he signed in, it might have been this year, an 8-year, $64 million contract, so about 8 million a year
Hmm.
through 2033. So
Okay. Maybe that's
Sanderson's,
one that activates next year because I feel like he's still fairly new. He might still be on his ELC, like his entry level
I think you're
contract.
right. I think you're right. Yeah, because he's only
So
22.
yeah.
He's
So
a
maybe
kid.
like even that there, right there, that future proofs a little bit. It makes it a little bit easier to fit that big salary that's coming in under your cap next year. So smart,
Yeah.
smart, smart GMing by Steve Staios, I would say. Um, but yeah, and then like Jacob Bernard Docker, I had so much hope for him. He just came in like a whirlwind, and I felt that he was doing really well last year. Not spectacular, but I think a bottom pairing defenseman. He was doing his job and he was doing it really well. Then this year, he just didn't do great. He was set up with Travis Hamonic, I think, for most of the season, which just didn't help him.
Yeah.
Hamonic is a super old, like 38-year-old broken guy. Not defensively. Uh, he's not speedy enough to be defensively responsible. So the advanced metrics on JBD looked a lot worse than I would say his play warranted. But you know, if it's a piece that Buffalo wanted and they thought they had a spot for him along with Norris, and you got the job done of getting the guy that you wanted in Cousins, go for it. That sounds great.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'll see that a lot. Sometimes it's a matter of just fit, just chemistry.
Mhm.
Just, I think this player is better or worse than advertised because of who he's playing with.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? Any other final thoughts on this one? I feel good.
Yeah, I think if we talk about who won the trade, I think the Senators won it running away.
Oh,
You
totally.
know, the,
Like,
the second round pick is nothing to sneeze at either.
no, definitely. And I think like being within the Senators fan base and like looking at all the comments and everything that have happened over like the last year and a half, everyone was saying get rid of Norris, get rid of JBD. And like I don't know, maybe the scouts and the GM of the Ottawa Senators have read Reddit too because they did what they did what everybody wanted. So they're pandering to the fans, I guess, too, which is something that didn't happen before and was a really tough ask in like the previous era of the Senators before their last owner passed away and they changed GM. So
Yeah. Yeah, those were tough times when it wasn't even like the fans as much as it was just pure common sense. Like this is the thing to do, and they're like, let's do the opposite though.
yeah.
I think what if we do the different thing that is the terrible thing?
What if we ignore everything that makes sense, will help win us games, and we just I don't know, throw a pizza against the window, like whatever.
That was basically it. It was painful there
Yeah,
for a while.
couple dark years.
Yeah, but it's better now. So I'm excited to see their trajectory as we move into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, are they going to make the playoffs?
I'm gonna say you made the declaration about the Kings. I'm gonna say that the Senators are going to make the playoffs as not even the second, but the first wild card in the East.
Oh, I love
You
it.
heard it here first.
Heard it here first. Nobody fact check.
I said nothing. The bot is deleted.
Right? No, I need it.
Damn it.
I gotta send it to Bissonette.
That's true. That's true. This is a demo. I forgot. Paul, you're great. I think Casual's going to do really good things for you. I'm excited to, just like the Senators, I'm excited to see Casual's trajectory.
Yep.
On your
Excited to
podcast.
see him in the playoffs. See what he can do.
Yep.
All right. Up next. Wait, what? Luke Shen.
Yeah, Luke Shen.
Luke Shen.
Now a Jet.
Now a Jet.
I think this one needs at least a little bit of kind of backtracking because there was a previous trade. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, we
I
might
think it was.
like that's what I thought. Okay, hold on. Bear with me. I thought he just got traded earlier, so that's where I was like, "What?" Yeah, okay, here we go. Here we go. Cuz like he wasn't on Pittsburgh. He was on Pittsburgh last year or something. I don't know.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, yes, or 2 days ago. 2 days ago, Luke Shen was traded to Pittsburgh from Nashville. And I'll let you take this one, Mondo. This is your team. This is Nashville.
Yeah, it's an interesting trade because you have a guy in Tommy Novak who has been, and I know this was several days ago, so I don't want to go too deep, but basically you have a couple of pieces that make sense for a team who is making a big playoff push and will eventually get into the playoffs with pretty much certainty, which Pittsburgh is not. Which is why this trade didn't really make sense for them. They're pretty much at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. They have a chance to make the playoffs, but it'd be a very, very tough climb for them. And likewise, the Predators picking up in Michael Bunting, a similar kind of piece, I feel like. There's not really a lot of future value that a player like Michael Bunting will give you. So yeah, it was kind of baffling on both sides. It didn't seem like either team, the Predators also not being a playoff team this year, it didn't seem like either team really benefited that much.
See, I wonder too, like if Shen's on an expiring contract. I feel like he might be. I think he like re-signed for like a couple years with the Predators, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's got one more year left.
One more
on
year,
his
so
deal.
another year next year.
Yeah. And a decent price, right? 2.75 million a year for a guy who's, going to just block a ton of shots, who's just going to be a third defensive pairing stalwart for the Penguins, well, now for the Jets, as we learned, just a few minutes ago.
Yep. Yeah, the human eraser.
That actually is a nickname. That's awesome.
That's his actual nickname, the Human
I
Eraser.
love him. I'm sad that we traded him now. That's so metal.
Right? Yeah, because like when he came into the NHL when he was drafted by the Leafs, like his main upside was just like crushing hits. Like he would literally rub people out, and that's why they called him the Human Eraser.
Oh my god, I love it so much.
Right? It's so funny. But yeah, now he's moved on over to the Jets. So another one of those, I don't know, maybe didn't see, maybe it's one of those things. And you have to, I guess, respect potentially um the GM for Pittsburgh. What's his name? The kid.
Oh, not Kyle Dubas. Is it Kyle
Yeah,
Dubas?
it's Kyle Dubas. So Kyle Dubas went out and traded for Luke Shen when he was the GM of the Leafs for their playoff push.
Right.
Again, using him as like a bottom six, like a bottom pairing defenseman, who actually turned into one of their top 4 defensemen and put up probably one of like his best playoffs I've seen in a good long time. Was definitely like a huge factor in any success that Toronto had. I would say as far as like penalty kills and stuff.
For sure.
And now maybe this is Kyle Dubas giving Luke Shen a chance to chase that cup with Winnipeg.
And I like the deal for both. It's
Yeah.
again, Pittsburgh on a team that's not going to make the playoffs. They get some draft capital for their cupboard. And the Jets probably not a piece that's going to make or break them, but something solid that they can rely on.
Yeah, you always need depth defensemen in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
People
That's
get-
maybe the make or break.
People get hurt and you need someone who can step up into a top 4 role. And Luke Shen, I think, can do that for them if they need it.
And maybe proof of like no matter how good you're doing at the trade deadline, if you are one of the best teams, you must improve to keep pace with the rest of the league. Like the Winnipeg Jets right now, the best team in the NHL with 92 points. You would think like, oh, they're good. They don't need a piece. What are they doing? Like everyone else is getting better though.
Yeah.
Yeah, good pickup.
And they have like a super solid cap situation too, from what I remember. Like, if I remember correctly, the Jets and I think Dallas have like the most available cap space or something like that. Which
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, they're doing something right in Winnipeg. I don't know how they convince people to move to Winnipeg first of all, and then do it for not a lot of money.
They do have a few folks coming up that will be re-signing. That'll probably be due a raise. Nikolai Ehlers being one of them. Mason Appleton, Neil Pionk. Maybe we'll get a raise, although 5.8 seems right for him. But yeah,
Appleton get a raise though. I don't know.
Yeah, it's wishy-washy for sure.
Definitely. Well,
yeah.
Let's move on to the next trade, which is also another interesting move. And we see the Jets again.
Okay, they're just hogging the whole board now.
Yep. They picked up probably the goofiest looking guy in all of the NHL. In Brandon Tanev.
For my money, this was one of the best trades of the day.
Oh, really?
To be perfectly honest. Yeah. I feel like Brandon Tanev is one of those guys that just knows how to win. That just is a really clutch dude. He's got those intangibles that, like, when we would play, teams that he was playing on, most recently Seattle, I didn't want to see him. I didn't want to look up on my TV and see Brandon Tanev with the puck because I knew that bad things were going to happen to us.
Fair.
And they often did. He's he's played with Pittsburgh. That's right. This is his second stint with the Jets. I forgot about that.
His second stint. That's interesting. So it's familiar ground for him.
Yeah.
I completely forgot that he played there too.
That could factor in a lot. He's familiar with the area. He's maybe has friends there. And that matters to a guy. I feel like that really helps a guy shine. So yeah, I think I like this trade even more now that I realize that.
Yeah, and like first of all, Sif looked him up, and that is a face.
That's true, Sif. It's so true.
And then second, kind of the antithesis to Anthony Beauvillier would be Brandon Tanev, of going to a place where he could be comfortable, he's familiar with. It's not that much of a stretch for him to like pick up a life there and start a life there, because he has already had a life there, and he
Right.
can be comfortable, versus like an Anthony Beauvillier who's gonna need a transition time and get comfortable, unless he's moved so much he's just like, whatever, no skin off my back. So
That's true. Yeah, some guys just get used to, you just have your go bag packed and you're ready when you get the call.
yep, yep. But yeah, you know what, that you're making some good points here, and like, man, the return, like what the Jets gave up, a second round pick, they keep their core intact, they keep all of their players, and they just bring in another player who can help them, like, and again, deep cup run hopefully for them. They're looking like they're hopefully not gonna go out of the playoffs first round, and they're gonna get like a low pick, which a second round 2027 pick. It's 2027. I thought it was 2026. Even after next year, like, they're still gonna have a good team if they can pull everyone back together. So yeah.
It's the dream scenario. We talk a lot about mortgaging the future and going all in and having nothing left. So if you don't win the cup in that, 1 to 3 year window that you have, then you're at the bottom of the barrel again.
Yeah.
And the Jets are clearly built to not be that team. They're going to be good for a long time.
Yeah. They have probably the best goalie in the league. They have, again, like a very strong core. A few of like Josh Morrissey, like one of the fantastic defensemen in the league, can definitely anchor your back end there. And yeah, like, just like great talent up front, and Shifley and Ehlers, and who's the other one? Who's the other one they have up there?
Kyle Connor.
Kyle Connor.
Yeah.
Kyle Connor. That's what I was thinking of. He's so skinny. He looks so funny. He
He's
looks like a child wearing an adult's helmet.
He really does. Like, I remember the first time I saw him, I'm like, what's this guy going to do? Like, one of the games we were playing against him, he didn't have his helmet on. I'm like, okay, he's
Yeah.
not an NHL player.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure he rattled off like 2 goals that game against
Yeah.
us. He's got a sick shot.
Like, Connor Bedard looks older than him.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. So. All right, we could probably skip over this next trade, because who cares about it?
I
Just
like it.
kidding.
I like it.
So you got the
Oh.
Leafs. Mortgaging the future, as you said.
Yep.
So this one's really interesting to me. I'm really curious to see what they do with their lineup, knowing like the center depth that they have. Like,
For sure.
what are you doing? You have Austin Matthews at 1C. You have Nylander, who can play wing or center for your second line. You have Tavares, who's a solid third center now. And then who's their? I'm forgetting the name of their fourth line. Camp.
Yep. David Camp.
David Camp. But even like on that second line, they have someone else who plays center on that one.
What an embarrassment of riches. Oh my goodness.
Right?
Yeah, that's the kind. I mean, centers are so sought after, I feel like, in the league, and the Leafs just have like 30 of them.
Yeah. And now
And
like
31 now that they got Scott Laughton.
totally. And now they've again, they've traded away a conditional first round pick for 2027. And again, not one of their highest prospects, but like, a guy who can come up and play if they need him to in a prospect, for yet another center to fill a role that doesn't really need to be filled, I would say. And like, a comparison would be to the Winnipeg Jets that we just saw. Would you want a Brandon Tanev, or would you want a Scott Laughton? And I think it makes way more sense for them to bolster their wings over their centers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the perfect case of great player, terrible fit.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like as well, I think I heard somewhere that they have a couple more players coming back from injury. So like it's just the backlog there. Like they waived Ryan Reeves and like whatever, that's fine. Michael Nyes can fight.
Mhm. He proved that literally day one after Reeves was was released.
Yeah, that was my favorite thing that I read after. It's like the Reddit post was that Reeves has been waived, and the top comment was, "Coach saw Michael Nyes out there and said we don't need him anymore."
He's got it. He's got it. He's good.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like Scott Lawton for a first round pick, and then I would say like the player going back and the picks kind of wash out. Um, Yeah, I don't know if Scott Lawton for a first rounder is what you would want to pay for what would presumably be a third line center. Because like if he's going to be a third line center, that means you're moving Tavares back up to the second line, which is not the right move.
Yeah, that has been proven over a few seasons now.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is Tavares going to play second line wing? Is that going to be weird for him?
Gosh.
Keep Nylander in the middle.
I guess that would be what you'd have to do, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
It creates problems where there didn't have to be any problems.
Yeah.
Like this trade made things harder for the construction of the lines than it was beforehand.
Yeah, totally.
And it cost them $3 million for the privilege.
Yeah, I guess yeah, because Scott Lawton was making what, like 5 point something million, 6 million.
I thought he was making that much, but he's only making 3 apparently. This season and next.
Oh well, 50% retained too, so that got slightly better.
That's true. So 1.5.
Yeah.
So not a ton of salary to dish out there, but still, like you said, it creates a problem where there was none.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird pick. Weird trade.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm just looking ahead at the next trade. And I'm looking at the time to make sure that we have 8 minutes until the ad. That's enough time for this next one.
Oh yeah, we'll crank through it.
We're good. This is a biggie. This is a big one.
Ooh.
The aforementioned Mikko Rantanen, giving Carolina a haul. So super interesting trade. There are a lot of like conditions on this that are really interesting as well. So Mikko Rantanen, as we mentioned, he was traded from Colorado over to Carolina. Kind of like unceremoniously and randomly, and no one really knew what was going on per all the reports. And the shock of what's his name? Jack Johnson. To the shock of Jack Johnson, who responded on Twitter or X or whatever it was, Instagram. I don't know. But
did he really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, because like he doesn't play for Colorado anymore. But he was just like TSN or ESPN or whoever posted it, and then he just responded like WTF? Like what?
As did most of us after we saw that.
Yeah.
I was in a food court in the middle of a casino when that news dropped, and I literally like had to sit down. I was about to like order food, and I was like, I need a minute here. I need a minute.
Ooh, we got the Mondo lore on the last time he was playing cards.
That might have been actually. That might have been the last time I set foot in a card room. Yeah,
we were chatting about that before our stream started. That's Mondo's hobby, is to go play some cards, play some poker and stuff. And is it poker that you play?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I was making sure. I was like, he's not a blackjack guy, right?
Some people love blackjack. I am not that guy. Never liked it.
No, I'm not keen on having one card make or break consistently.
Yeah, it's pretty nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the point. So yeah, Mikko Rantanen, he got traded pretty unceremoniously by Colorado because they have a very tight salary cap situation, and Rantanen needs a new contract for next year. And despite the salary cap going up, he was looking for, I think, kind of like the max salary that he could get, which I think I read it today. I think is 13.5% of the full salary cap. Which works out to something like $15.3 million or something like that next year. So yeah, that was all what it seemed like was going to happen. He was gonna request this massive contract. Colorado said no and just dropped him for I don't feel like they got a good return. I don't know what happened. I didn't really
That's
look
pretty
through that
dumb.
trade too hard, but it didn't feel like it was super great for them.
They got a player in Marty Nachos who has
Oh
been
yeah, HS. Right.
a solid role player for them. No one that's gonna, I keep saying that. I feel like no one that's gonna light up the score sheet. Miko Rantanen will light up the score sheet. He is that guy.
Yeah.
Marty Nachos not a bad player, but certainly not someone who's gonna fill the gap on your team that Miko Rantanen is leaving.
I mean, contrast though, like didn't Natchez go on like a scoring tear for the first few games as soon as he started playing with McKinnon? I mean, like anyone who plays with McKinnon's gonna be better.
Yeah, if I play with McKinnon, I'm getting like 15 goals that season.
Totally.
You can put it on the
he's gonna put it off my back and it's gonna go in. It's fine. He knows the angles. He's an expert.
I've never been on skates in my life. I'm scoring 15 goals. Easy.
It's fine. We'll just throw you in front of the net. I hear you're a tall guy, so you'll just block the goalie. It's fine.
That's perfect. I'm the Ben Bishop type, apparently.
Yeah, perfect. I do hear that Edmonton does have a goalie position open, so
Yeah, that opening has been there for a few years now. I've heard.
I need to stop making that joke, I think.
I've made it like every day, I think, to my buddy, like every day for the last month.
Yeah. So anyways, back to this trade. So that's kind of like the preamble, the backstory on Mikko Rantanen going to Carolina. He did terrible. Bad chemistry. I don't even know if he scored a goal. He might have had like an empty netter. I have no idea. I heard zero things about him over his entire tenure with Carolina, which is like a month, like whatever. But now he wants out. He's not going to re-sign with them. He told them he's not having a good time. Send me somewhere else. And Carolina found a suitor, and got a buttload back for this one player who may possibly thrive or may be in the same situation where it's just like not a good fit. But Dallas is a really good team. They have a lot of really great young talent that he can play with. I am disappointed to see that Logan Stankoven is not going to get the chance to play with him. And he's being sent to Carolina. I really like him. I like Logan Stankoven. He was one of our last Captain Canadas who led a few, like one of the last like winning junior teams, I think. So I like him.
Yeah, I feel like he's the guy who you're going to be looking at in 5 years and thinking like, oh, that's one of the top, 50 or so players in the NHL.
Yeah.
I feel like his ceiling is just through the roof.
I went to one of the WHL games out here for the Vancouver team, and they were playing against the Kamloops Blazers, I think it was, which Logan Stankoven was the captain of in junior. And just watching him play was unreal live. Like he was so good. His hockey IQ was unmatched on the ice. Whenever he was out there, he always had the puck. It was so good to watch him play.
So that's a guy you want, a guy who's confident, a guy who is just going to be like, I can make a play happen. I can make a goal happen. Just trust me.
Yep. Yeah.
And
So
I feel like a player like that will thrive, especially in a system like Carolina that is so team centric, that has never really been like about a single superstar. I feel like a guy like him is really going to shine there.
Yeah. And that's because their superstar is their coach, Rod the Bod.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, ex NHLer himself, Rod Brindamore, I think won a Stanley Cup with the Hurricanes when he was a player.
He won them their first Stanley Cup, I think. I think he had like game-winning goal or something too. It was unreal.
Oh my
What a
gosh.
story.
Legend.
But yeah, ugliest face, but man, killer body. Guy was so cut.
Yeah, he's instilled a system out there, and maybe that's what Mikko Rantanen didn't like about it. Maybe he wanted to be the guy. Maybe he
Yep.
wanted more flash and more sizzle.
Yep.
And the Carolina system is not about flash or sizzle. And he was like, "No, this just ain't for me."
Yeah. No Michigans.
No Michigans. No, absolutely not. No lacrosse goals. No between the legs.
Right?
You will be sad. You'll be benched.
Imagine the audacity.
The call, the absolute call.
Right? So we do have an ad break coming up. I might just hit the button because it's going in 20 seconds or, whatever, 20 seconds. I might just flash our BRB screen and mute us to everyone for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
It gives you an opportunity as well if you want to get up, get some water or something. And then, I can take a peek and see how many we have left to see how your time is doing as well.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good to keep going. So I will grab some water and we'll reconvene after the ads.
All right. Everyone else, go grab some water as well. Get a snack, do what you got to do. We'll see you in a couple minutes. Oh God, which button is which? I have to do that. I think we're back now. Are we all back? Are we so back?
Yo,
Yo,
I feel back. I feel
I
back.
feel back. I see your um my mic is working. I think I saw your mic working, so I think we're good.
Sweet.
I also realized I should have had like a little bit of soft jazz in the background for all of this. I didn't.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we never do. Whenever we stream, like it's always just empty.
Yeah.
No, just blank air.
Yeah. It's fine. Whatever. All right. So that was a major trade. Like that was one of the most interesting trades of the day for me. I was shocked at the return that Carolina got. 2 first-round picks, a great player, and additional picks for a guy who negotiated a new contract with Dallas. We didn't even mention that.
We did not. Yeah, 8
He-
years and $96 million, $12 million a year.
Yeah. I mean, imagine Colorado kicking themselves in the butt. They could have had a $15 million player for $12 million.
Man, the dream.
Also, that's another interesting thing. Is it actually an 8-year deal?
It is an 8. Let me double check. I'm fact checking me.
Is it not
yeah.
7?
Yeah, it's because he signed. I mean, he was traded to Dallas.
So it's trade and sign, not like
yeah, exactly.
Which is also an interesting thing. Like a player who's under contract with a team can re-sign or sign an extension for up to 8 years. A free agent who's signing, or like someone who's not signed to the team already, can only sign a maximum of 7 years, which is interesting.
And I don't think there used to be like a cap on that in terms of like how long a contract could be. Cause I mean, you had some guys that had, 13, 14-year contracts, back in the day, like probably 10 years ago or so.
Well, yeah. And then the DiPietros and the Kovalchuks ruined that.
Yes, they did.
Wasn't
Indeed.
even like Ovechkin. I thought he almost signed like a 12-year deal or something.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. At least a 10-year deal, I would guess.
Something more than 8. And I think when they had their last lockout and they like redid the CBA, that's where they put the cap, and that's where they put the conditional on a free agent can only sign with like for 7 years. Which is why you get all these like Rantanen, the sign and or the trade and sign, or the sign and trade, or whatever you want to call it. Trade and sign, I think, is the right order of operations there, where once you're under contract with a team, whether by transfer or draft, whatever, you can sign an 8-year deal, and that gives the team that they're with the leverage to offer that extra salary and retention and everything, versus going to a free agent where you don't have the option of signing for 8 years, which
Yeah, it's
I
just like we talked about the $1 million not seeming significant. Like that 1 year can make a huge difference on where a guy ends up signing.
Yeah, like the 8 years, 12 million. Maybe Colorado only wanted to do a 5-year, and that's why he wanted 15 million. The players
For
want a
sure.
certain amount of guaranteed salary, so they're gonna get it however they can.
Which is another interesting point too, that NHL salaries are fully guaranteed for the players. That I know that I think in like the NFL in the States that the contracts are not guaranteed unless they're explicitly guaranteed for players. But in the NHL, they are fully guaranteed from the time that they're signed.
I think lockout is a condition where it's not guaranteed.
Right.
But that makes sense. If there's no bargaining agreement, then why would you get paid for not playing hockey? But that's where you also see a lot of players. Like I think Austin Matthews is taking like a $1 million salary every year of his like stupid $13 million a year, and he had the rest paid out in signing bonuses every year. So, and like guaranteed contract or guaranteed salary. So if like the next CBA comes up in a couple years or whatever it is, he'll get his signing bonus on July 1st. And then if hockey doesn't start in October, he's already got his 12 million.
Pretty sweet deal, right?
Give me 12 million to not play in the NHL.
I'm telling you, I would take less.
Me too.
I would
I would
even
take
take
half
10.
of that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not greedy. I would take half of 12 million.
It's very generous, you know. I mean, we're team players.
Think of the cost savings for the team. They could have me not playing in the NHL for $6 million, or have Austin Matthews play or not play in the NHL for $12 million.
It's a no-brainer.
It's just good accounting.
And that was Moneyball, brought to you by Still Casual.
Money puck. There we go.
Money puck. Yep. See, if it's not a website, I'm sure it is a website already.
I'm sure it is. Do you know who Luke Kunin is?
I do. He actually used to be a Predator way back when.
Oh, I was just gonna skip this because I don't know who this guy is.
Oh, it's skippable. He was traded to us from Minnesota like 5 years ago.
Okay.
He was just kind of a nothing burger, and we traded him to San Jose probably for a 4th-round pick.
Ooh,
He's
great
definitely
asset management.
it truly is. He is definitely the 4th-round pick trade guy in the NHL.
Excellent. By the way, Anthony Beauvillier.
He is. They're probably pals. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Oh God.
We'll just scooch on past that one then.
Yeah. Not much meat on that bone.
Yep. Colorado again. Trading away a couple centers, high value position, not necessarily the most high value players, and getting back a center in Charlie Coyle, who I feel like is the better fit than Casey Middlestad, who I think was playing their 3rd line center or 4th line center role.
Yeah, it's an improvement for sure in the pure player sense of the word.
Yeah.
And that's what Colorado is going for. They're not going for a guy that maybe will get a little better. I mean, Casey Middlestad's 26, so he's not like a young player. But yeah, Charlie Coyle is definitely the guy that you would want between the two if you're in a win now mode, and Colorado clearly is.
Yep. Yeah. They're a year removed from a Stanley Cup, so they want to get back there.
Yeah, this is a weird move because they are all centers. It's oops all centers sort of situation.
I like that. I'm gonna use that. Oops, all centers.
Yeah, we thought it was just the Maple Leafs who had that problem. Apparently, it's Colorado too.
But yeah, like Charlie Coyle, I see him being a player who can step up into a higher role. Like Middlestat could as well, but I wouldn't want him on a second line anywhere near my team.
Agreed.
So, yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah, Charlie Coyle rather. His numbers were Charlie Cole. The numbers were a little bit lower this year, but to be fair, the Boston Bruins altogether have been kind of on an off year.
Altogether, the Boston Bruins were a little bit lower numbers as well.
It's the nice way to put it. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
So I think he's a better player than his 25, 24 stats would show.
Cool.
I think he's going to prove that with Colorado. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in the playoffs.
Let's see how many he can put off his butt.
At least 3.
At least 3. Perfect. Moving along. Do we see our first goalie moving?
Heck yeah, we do. Hello, Peter.
I mean, we see our first goalie moving today, but the condition that made Chicago able to move on from Peter Mrazek, who I like as a goalie. I don't think he's a bad goalie. I think he's not as good as who they have now in Spencer Knight.
For sure.
I think Mrazek's a little bit stronger between the ears for a goalie than Spencer Knight. So there's conditions each way. But I would say technically Spencer Knight is the better goalie for Chicago. And Chicago can build at this point from the net out with Bedard and dropping that contract from Seth Jones, and maybe working it a little bit differently in their dressing room now. So decent goalie for them, and Peter Mrazek just ended up being an odd guy out. I would say they don't need another like a 1A 1B in Chicago. They just need to let Spencer Knight develop and kind of get shellacked a bit and get better.
Yeah, young kid, like you said, he's a little bit. I mean, he's like we were when we were young. He's one of those kids who thinks he knows everything, and it's just he'll learn, he'll mature. It takes some guys longer than others. But yeah, he's definitely the kind of guy that you can look at as the a goalie of the future. I don't know if the goalie of the future remains to be seen, but definitely a good piece for their rebuild.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I think that's it. Like you definitely see like the goalie's maturity window and like the goalie's win window is definitely more late 20s, early 30s, I would say, is where you want to get a guy or where you can like consistently rely on a guy. Like you might get, I hate to say it, like a Jordan Binnington, who's like a mid 20s guy who wins a Stanley Cup by some
Yeah,
fluke.
one of your favorite players, I thought, right? Is that am I
Totally, yeah.
misremembering that?
I'm sorry for everything. No, I'm not.
There you go. Stick to your guns. Heck yeah. Let him know. I know Jordan's here listening, so
Yeah.
unload on him.
Sir, you got lucky.
So lucky. I mean, Ryan O'Reilly carried that team, but that's neither here nor there.
That's fair. You had one good game out of 5, and it was the right good game. So get out of here.
That's literally all it was. He fell into a cup. It's so unfair.
Like, and that's what it is with him. Like, he will be 1, the worst person ever, but 2, absolute trash in net, and then yell at someone and try to fight someone. And then every 5 games, he's like this like lights out superstar goalie, and everyone forgets that he sucks.
Like he knows how often he has to be good to stay in the good graces of. He plays for the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah.
To stay in the good graces of the Blues organization and fans, he knows like exactly how often he has to be good, and he's good exactly that often.
And like what I said about Spencer Knight not being like that strong between the ears, like 100%, 200% for Jordan Binnington. Like that guy is a loose cannon and not in a fun and quirky way.
And you mentioned like age at a certain point, like a guy's going to get it or he's not. Like Jordan Binnington is 31. If he hasn't gotten it by now, he ain't getting it.
Yeah, 100%. Like this is his window to show that he's like a mature, reliable goalie who can win games and lead a team to a Stanley Cup. And like he fluked into that. The rest of the team carried him, I would say, through that whole playoff run.
For sure.
That was what, like 2019, 2020?
I think it was 2019, I think.
2019. So like 6 years ago. So yeah, there's the window of like mid-20s guy who wins a Stanley Cup by being in the right place in the right time and coming in the second half of the season, a la Murray with Pittsburgh.
Oh, don't remind me.
Who just like pushed Marc-Andre Fleury out of the way and won 7 games in the playoffs to win a Stanley Cup and be a rookie Stanley Cup winning goalie. I'm mad about that too.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one. That makes me feel better.
I didn't realize I was still mad about it until we said it out loud.
I still remember a friend of mine at the cup clinching game because it was against the Nashville Predators.
Oh,
if that was,
that's double. That's worse for you. I'm sorry. I don't mean to bring that back up.
No, it's always a funny memory just remembering like the last game because a friend of mine was at the game where the Penguins beat the Predators because it was here in Nashville.
Yeah.
And it was Patrick Hornqvist, who used to be a Predator, I believe, that scored the game-winning goal. And
that's a dagger.
It was a dagger. It was the silliest goal ever.
Yeah.
And my buddy just telling me like just him getting up and like, in a very profane manner, cursing out Patrick Hornqvist and then looking over and seeing a kid like sitting next to him. It's like, oh no. Oh, what have I done?
You are still like fairly new to hockey. Like you haven't, you weren't like always a hockey fan. Accurate?
Very accurate. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would say probably 2015, 2016, somewhere around there is when I really started getting into the sport.
Okay. So golden age of, I would say, the EA Sports NHL games. Did you ever play any of those?
Not the more recent ones. I did play a lot of like NHL 98 specifically, and
Okay.
that's really weird. I don't know why that one only, but I did play a lot of that game.
Okay. Sorry, but first, hello, Shady. How are you? Well,
Yo,
well,
shady.
well. Welcome in. Oh, it's only 10 years ago. Yeah. A fairly
Yeah,
new hockey fan.
basically
Um,
yes.
anyways, I reference the NHL, like EA Sports NHL games, because Patrick Hornqvist in that game is my Brandon Tanev for you right now.
Oh, really?
I hate like when I was playing, like I think I played like 2015, I had 2018 or 2019 or something like that.
Yeah.
And every single time it was a close game because for some reason I'm playing on one of like the harder modes, and like their goalie just stops like 65 of my 67 shots and I have a 2-1 lead. And Patrick Hornfist picks up the puck and goes and scores a goal with like 37 seconds left, without a doubt.
Like clockwork.
And I just turned the game off. I'm like, I'm not even finishing this.
I don't even care about overtime. I don't care about a shootout. We're done here.
Yeah,
We're
he's
done.
just gonna score again. I know it. Like this goalie's gonna stonewall me, and I'm gonna lose. I hate
That's such pain. That's such pain.
it. But yeah, so that's how I feel about Patrick Hornqvist as well.
No, we can share in that misery. He was great when he played for the Predators, but it was certainly before my fandom that he was
Mm,
a Predators player. So
mm. I think I have to hate him on the Predators because I think that's who he was playing for back then when I was playing that game. So sorry.
hey, I get it. And NHL takes everything else over.
Yep, takes a lot out of you.
It's true. It's true.
Okay, moving along. Shady, how was your day? What's going on over with you? We have our next trade, the New Jersey Devils. I don't know if Sassy's here. I haven't seen her. She might be in bed
Hmm.
already. I don't know. It's Friday. It's Friday. Maybe she's up.
Yeah.
But
Get her take on this trade as a Devils fan that she is.
yep. But yeah, Chase Stillman, Max Graham, don't know them. I assume that they're some lower end players.
That's my assumption as well. Your guess is as good as mine. This one I did not prep for, so
Why would you? It's two people we don't know. Cody Glass, whose name I've heard before, and Jonathan Grundon, whose name I just like. I don't know. I don't
that
know
is kind
why.
of a good name.
Jonathan Grundon. That's a hockey player name.
It's a strong name.
It
That's a
is.
strong name.
It is. Yeah, 100%.
Should get at least
Um,
2 million just based on name alone.
yeah, I would do that. I would do that deal. Um, ooh, I forgot. Lou Lamoriello is not in New Jersey, so he would not get that deal.
Oh, there's Sassy.
Speak of the devil.
Roll credits.
I was like, do I want to call Sassy the devil? I do. I do want to.
You own it. I appreciate that.
I stopped. I thought about it. Sassy, how are you? We were just talking about your team. Perfect timing. Wonderful timing. One would say the best timing that anyone's ever had ever.
That's a fact, actually. That doesn't need to be fact checks. That's just
Yeah.
confirmed.
We're doing a lot of fact checking tonight, but that one, pretty confident in.
Yeah, no arguments here.
Yeah. So yeah, we're talking about the New Jersey Devils. My day is good, thanks. Just vacuuming as per usual. That's a lot of vacuuming. I should probably do more vacuuming, if I'm being honest. It's not
Yeah,
my
we're
favorite
overdue.
chore.
We are overdue for sure for the vacuum.
Let me know if you want someone who really knows hockey to input. I do. We're making things up here. We're just saying things, which is like 98% of like hockey commentating and like analyzing. Just say something and say it with conviction, and you're probably okay. You're allowed to
That's
have an
why I love
opinion.
it. It's so much hot air. Like just today, perfect example. Like driving home, I usually listen to the NHL Network, and they were talking about how they felt that Carolina had fumbled the bag in the Miko Rantanen trade. And I'm like, but did you see what they got? They got everything. They got literally everything in the world.
Yeah.
Like, except for Miko Rantanen. That's the only thing they
Right?
didn't get.
Like you got to play. You got rid of a player who's just a rental to you, and got a buttload back in a player with control in 2 first-round picks, in additional picks that you can flip for other assets next year. Like, what are you talking about? Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
And
I
like, I
was
get it.
baffled.
The Dallas picks aren't going to be super valuable because they are going to contend for the next couple of years. But I would take a mid-20 pick over no picks and a player you can't re-sign and just walks.
Any day of the week.
Yeah, like who is this pundit? I'm gonna steal Chris's word. Who's this pundit who's saying things?
Who was it? Mike Rupp? I think it might have been Mike Rupp.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yep, yep. Story checks out.
Like Rupp. God,
Rupper.
such a
Jeez
plug.
Louise. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, so Sassy's here now. We're talking about the Devils, and literally the 4 of us, I'm gonna include Shady on this, because he's talking about who's on wing, and there was only one winger who was in this trade, and apparently it's all about Chase Stillman, so we don't even need to talk about anyone else. So great insight, Shady. Thank you for that, for pointing us in the right direction. Really appreciate your contribution.
Yeah, born in St. Louis, played for the Sudbury Wolves
Ooh.
for a period of time. The Peterborough Petes. I know I'm mispronouncing all of those, and I'm so sorry.
Is he Corey Stillman's son?
I hope he is. If
'Cause,
he's
like,
not, then it's a missed opportunity.
right? There's good value there. At the very least, you get a solid like ex NHLer on the dad's trip.
There you go. Yeah, he is indeed Corey Stillman's son.
Oh, interesting.
Good. Look at the insight.
Look at
Oh my
that
gosh.
poll. Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's what you get here on trade deadline debrief. I had to look at the screen to remember what the segment was called because I'm a professional.
Totally. I like threw this together because, okay, full disclosure, I was trying to make this like a full PowerPoint presentation, and then I panicked when I look at the time, and I hadn't eaten anything. I didn't have water. I hadn't set anything up in OBS, and I was just like, okay, whatever. No, we're not doing it. Let's go. We're just gonna do this. We're pivoting.
I love it. Pivot.
Yeah. And then that's the other thing too, because I was gonna do like one slide for each trade. And then look at where we're at now. We're on like trade 17. Like,
Well,
that would have been a lot
taken
of work.
days. Yeah,
So I'm happy I made my choice. This is much better.
for sure.
This is classic Smarch weather.
Smarch. Oh, I do love it, Smarch.
All right, we're
Peterborough.
on to
Thank you.
another big trade. We'll
Oof.
do it live. Welcome in, King. How are you, friend?
Kingy. What's good?
King is king.
True.
I need this up. Cool. I want something that's a bigger font because I'm blind as heck. There we go. This one. Florida, already everyone's favorite team in the NHL, just made a move to really solidify themselves as the most fair play, non-rat like, or I'm trying to think of other adjectives that are the exact opposite of all the things I want to say.
Yeah.
Teams in the NHL. This is just the wildest move to me. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, this
That isn't a joke.
This was. It's like you have in Florida, like you said, the odds-on favorite in betting circles right now to win the Stanley Cup. despite the fact that they're in fourth place in the league in points. If you look at, like, if you compare the whole league to each other, like, they're not even the very best team in the NHL points wise, but because of how good they've been and because of how much better they got, question mark, with Brad Marchand. Yeah, it's assuming that they get a contributing Brad Marchand, a Brad Marchand that's capable of what we know he is,
Mhm.
then this absolutely puts him over the top.
Yeah. Like this
But
is unreal. Like you have like I don't know I haven't gotten I haven't seen an update on Matthew Kachuk. Is he like dead in the water?
he is, did he hit LTIR?
I
Think
I
he
don't
might
know. I
have.
don't recall. But I mean like let's say for instance they have a Matthew Kachuk, a Sam Bennett, and a Brad Marchand on on lines 1, 2, and 3 in that order. I would hate to play against that team.
Yeah, he is out for the year. Matthew
Okay.
Kachuk is. Yeah, I think he tore his groin during the Four Nations Cup,
Hmm.
if memory
Okay.
serves.
All right.
Um,
Well, no Matthew Kachuk is, I guess, an okay thing to hear from a perspective of Eastern Conference teams playing Eastern Conference teams in the playoffs. Um,
yeah.
so here's my thoughts on the Brad Marchand trade. I think that Florida has an excellent merchandising opportunity to sell little plastic rats with Marchand's face on them, or like a little Marchand jersey on it, so that
Can you imagine the
during the
windfall?
playoffs, when they rain down the rats onto the ice from that glorious 1994, 94, 96 run,
Mm.
um, as the reference, yeah. I would just I would still hate the Florida Panthers. I would loathe them, and I do loathe them, but I would have the smallest little bit of respect for that opportunity taken.
Those are the opportunities that, as a team, like, it's not just about the product on the ice, you know?
Yeah,
I guess in this case it would be because the rats are being thrown on the ice, but just
yeah,
it's yeah, he's the kind of guy that, like, 31 out of 32 teams cannot stand this guy.
yeah, and that's conditional on which team he's playing for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. The Boston Bruins fans cannot stand Brad Marchand now
right, right.
because, yeah, he was traded and that was kind of sort of out of his hands, but
He's the
I think
captain,
that
though. I'm sure he had a no movement or something. He must have waved.
I'm guessing he did.
Yeah.
That sounds right. Yeah. But yeah, it was one of those situations where he expected a certain number to re-sign
Hmm.
with Boston, and they were like, we just can't fit it in. We've got too many contracts out there. We've got too many big deals that we did somewhat recently, and this is all we can give you. And he's like, all right, well, I'm not re-signing, and that was that.
Alternatively, maybe he retires this year. This is his
You
last
know,
hurrah.
would not doubt it. He's 36. He'll
Yeah.
be 37 probably by the time the Stanley Cup final is over.
Old man
Yeah.
Marchand out here being
Oh,
36 years old.
God, just dust, just absolute dust.
Right? Absolute dust. And Shady reminds us all that the groin's the most important muscle. Very important
I've
for
heard
us.
that. I've read that in medical books.
Yes, me too. I read a lot of medical books.
Oh yeah, same. Like, every day.
Yep, totally. It's light reading for me
Mhm, mhm.
as I push my glasses up like a nerd.
What
Um,
an ancient, exactly, King. What an ancient,
right?
just
What an ancient,
total boomer.
right? Also, we missed the message. The conditions on this trade, on some of these trades, seem like Balatro-esque card descriptions. I can see it. Like this one right here. Second round pick becomes a 2027 or 2028 first round pick if Florida wins 2 rounds in the Stanley Cup playoffs and Marchand plays 50% of the team's playoff games. Boston retains 50% of Marchand's salary.
So some of the trades can be like 50 plus 50 chips or like 1.5x molt for Brad Marchand.
It'll be called Rat
Like
King.
now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Yeah, it's called Rat King. That's the card.
Again, just more opportunities for merch.
Right? Oh man. This is the team up I didn't know I needed.
True. It's true.
All right. Have we talked enough about stupid Florida?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
It's
because we're still talking about Boston.
I just can't get away from him.
It's actually Brad Marchand. It's French. He's French. Marchand.
Marchand?
Yeah. But none of us here speak French, so who knows?
No, that sounds more elegant. I think I was saying like Marchand.
Marchand.
March
Brad Marching Band.
Brad Smarchand.
Brad Lousy Smarchand. We have to go back.
True. It's a must.
Oh, it's a Balatro joke. Oh, I ruined it. I ruined it.
Yeah, I play enough of it. I should know all the gags.
The worst.
Well, we can't play. That's our punishment. No
It's the
Balatro for a
hanging
week.
Chand.
I love it. I love it.
So, Toronto's active again, picking up another defenseman in Brandon Carlo. And trading away one of their centers. Can you imagine?
Oh, they're down to like 14 now. What are they going to do?
They pick up Scott Lawton, the thing they just have centers to burn.
It's just lousy with centers.
Right. Lousy with centers. So, Brandon Carlo seems like that's a decent pickup for them, I'd say. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. I don't know. I think Brandon Carlo is a top 4D.
I think on the Maple Leafs, absolutely. He is.
And maybe like a bad Boston team.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, he's going into the same situation that he was already in, just on a much better team.
Yeah, more up front for him to not have to be as good. So he might thrive. He could thrive.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's interesting?
Sorry,
Oh,
go
God,
ahead.
sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just saying that, like, what's interesting is that he enters the Maple Leafs as the D-man that has played the most games this season so far.
Huh.
So, yeah, 63. Morgan Riley just behind him with 62 games. So, definitely a guy who is, is a guy that you play, is a guy you put out there, and you have an expectation of him to be a good backstop defensive sort of defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what Toronto needs, way more than Scott Lawton. Like this, I felt this trade was solid for them.
Made sense, yeah. But does this happen if they don't get a Scott Lawton?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I don't know. It's like one kind of leads into the other, right?
Yeah, because I mean, like, is Fraser Minton gonna make the Leafs next year? I don't know. Like, I think he's had some good showings when he's played up, but I think for the most part he was playing down in the AHL, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah.
But like, he's one of those players that you would refill with depth versus like you'd fill a spot with depth versus like re-signing a guy for like a camp for $4 million. Like, you would bring Fraser Minton up and work him into that defensively responsible PK playing center.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a bad showing for him as a young kid, as only 20. He played 15 games this season for the Leafs. He 2 goals, 2 assists, which isn't lighting the world on fire, but he's 20. Like, that's pretty solid output for a kid that young.
Yeah, and like, when you have a team plan of give the puck to Matthews to score, who cares?
That's really all it is, yeah. Or Nylander, I guess.
Or Nylander. Oh yeah, I guess it's been Nylander this year. Just been on fire. But
lit it up.
Yeah.
Game-winning goal in the Four Nations Cup too, if memory serves.
Nylander?
No, he didn't. He absolutely did not. I know how geography works. Casual. I do. It's true. I don't know why. Maybe he had a game-winning goal, but not the game-winning goal.
Shady says, what I was going to say was 15 games this year for someone, only 20, 2 goals, 2 assists. That's pretty good. Oh, you just said that. Never mind.
And then I said that William Nylander was a Canadian, so I think we could just
So
go
yeah,
ahead and
I mean,
disregard.
I
No
think-
fact checking needed.
I think technically he is Canadian.
Really?
I think technically, I think he has Canadian citizenship because I think his mom is Canadian, and I think he was born here.
I didn't know that. So I kind of fell into being right accidentally.
Yeah,
Which is
I
usually how it
forget
goes.
where his dad was playing when he was born, but I feel like it might have been a Canadian team. He definitely has dual citizenship with whoever, but he obviously picks to play for Sweden because he
Right,
is
right.
Swedish. But yeah,
That's wild. That's almost worse when like you're wrong, but then you actually are accidentally right and you just didn't realize it.
yeah. I mean, he
Like
may
that's
also be
almost more of a
American.
gut
Like
punch. Yeah.
Nylander may have played for St. Louis at the time, which actually, like now that I think about it, sounds right. So I may have been wrong, but I may have just like really tried to back you up on it. So I'm doing my best.
No,
here.
I appreciate that. That's we gotta stick together on these trade
100%.
deadline debriefs, you know.
Imagine leaving Paul Bisson out in the lurch like that and not backing him up.
He wouldn't last long.
Right?
That'd be over.
I would never see his podcast again. Like I wouldn't be invited back.
It's a short stint, but you know, it's all just it's all part of the resume for the next podcast.
Totally. Yeah, 100%. We're just building a resume here.
Yeah.
All right. So Fraser Minton, 2 goals in 15 games at 20 years old. That's pretty good. You heard it here, folks. Shady again with the thoughtful insight. Thank you so much. Bit of a head scratcher coming up next. Not really though. Chicago Blackhawks move some contracts around. Shea Weber has not played in the NHL. I don't even know how many years.
Gosh, 7? No, maybe not that many, but I think the last time he played was when he was with Montreal.
Yeah.
Probably 2020.
Yeah, I think
2019.
he's one of the ones who has like one of those stupid long contracts.
Yeah, he did. It was
he
like
got
a
that from
13 or 14
Nashville.
year.
Yeah. So he's just getting paid forever. Can I just say how much I hate the Utah Hockey Club name?
I was just talking to Nickery about this earlier today, in fact.
Oh, really? What's her insight?
Yeah.
I want to hear from Nickery. I want to hear from Nickery's point of view.
Oh, more so that the Utah Hockey Club name is just atrocious.
Oh. I thought it was going to be like, I don't care about this, Mondo. Stop talking to me about it.
No, she actually has a pretty hot anti-Shea Weber take as a Predators fan.
Huh.
His very last game was a playoff game. I want to say maybe against the Anaheim Ducks. It was I want to say a game 7, and it was the worst game that we had ever seen him play by far. He just let everything past him. We ended up losing like 5-1 or something, and that was his last game as a Predator. So it definitely left a sour taste in the mouths of hers and many other fans too.
Interesting. We need to, man, had I known, we would have lined her up for some analysis on the Shea Weber deal here.
Oh yeah, she would let you know. She has some vitriol there. But
Love it. But we won't spend too much time on this. This feels more like a Utah Hockey Club, just kind of taking over where their previous team, Arizona Coyotes, I don't even know anymore, became just a dumping ground for any contract that had someone on LTIR, which is, I don't know. I don't like this in the NHL. I don't feel like you should be able to bury contracts with teams that don't have salary cap issues. And like Chicago, what are you doing? Like, why are you clearing so much salary cap space? Come on. You're not getting any.
Yeah, it's weird. Like they're in a rebuild. They obviously they're not going to get anything else this season since the trade deadline is come and gone.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make a lot of sense for now. Plus, I think this was the last season on Shea Weber's contract anyway, or next season was rather. So I guess you clear it for 1 year, but Chicago's probably not going to be very competitive next year either.
Yeah. This does open up, again, great marketing opportunities, I would say, for the Utah Hockey Club when they release the new jersey. You are hanging the Shea Weber jersey from the rafter first season, if I were them.
You have to.
Yeah, just retire him. Retire his number. I don't remember what number he wore. Was it like 3 or something?
He was number 6 with
Number
us
6?
at least. I don't know what he was with
Probably number
anyone
6 with everyone. So
Yeah.
I would just retire 6 right off the boot there. You set up your new jerseys. You set up your new team name. That's going right in the rafters.
I mean, best player to ever play for the squad.
100%.
That's
Like the
franchise
legacy
player,
right there of Shea Weber of the Utah Hockey Club. It's just unmatched.
You can't beat it. You really can't beat it.
Yeah. And then right up there with future considerations.
Oh, a close second.
A close second. The Utah Hockey Club
I
is
love
based
the
on a
text,
long
man.
and proud tradition of Utah being terrible.
I almost went to Utah once, and then I got COVID and didn't go. So that's as close as
Oh.
I've ever been to going to Utah.
I also thought of going to Utah once, and that's as close as I got to go to Utah.
I feel like others would have the same sort of experience. Like, yeah, I've considered it. I thought maybe Utah, and that was as close as I've come.
You know what? Legitimately, I now, because I just thought of it, I have been mistaking Utah for Idaho this whole time. So that's my bad.
They're right there. I mean, it's not that
Well,
far
like,
off.
because I'm thinking of like when I think of Utah, I think of Boise, Idaho.
That is amazing. I love that so much.
So, I don't know. So that's it. We can move on.
They can't be that far. I mean, again, we've proven my prowess in geography, but I don't think I think they're pretty close. So they probably border each other.
So someone may correct me, and I challenge you to come at me. I believe that Idaho is like below like BC, Alberta, more or less, and then it's Utah, and then it's Colorado in that line down. And then
Like
I
north
think
to
it's
south.
then I think it's like Nevada under Colorado, right?
Very, very close. It
Is there
goes
something in between?
Idaho. There's Idaho, then Utah. Colorado's directly to the east of Utah. Nevada's directly to the west of Utah, and then directly south is Arizona. So I mean, you're
Interesting.
right there.
It's all in the same area. I don't know. I know, like, I know I've looked at a map once, just that one time. And because when I was coaching hockey, we were looking at potentially going to a tournament in Colorado, and I wanted to see where it was. Because I think it would have been really cool to go to Colorado for a hockey tournament.
Yeah. It is a very pretty state, I will say. At least the parts of Colorado that I've been in are very picturesque.
Yeah, it'd be way better than going to the tournament that we actually went to, which was in the Okanagan, that I had to drive to, and I hated it.
Ooh, pretty long drive.
It's not a long drive. It was like a 4 or 5 hour drive, but driving through the mountains in winter in
Oh,
BC
Lord.
kind of sucks.
Yeah, that does not sound like a fun trip.
Shady, you would not have got that one.
And the GeoGuessr challenge
We're
gauntlet
on.
being laid down.
Is that what we're doing after we finish all these trades? Are we doing a GeoGuessr round? Come at me, Shady.
There it is. There's the main event of the evening.
Wait,
This is just the palate cleanser.
I just skipped over this, but I think that's fine. I can't pronounce that name. We're going to move on.
I think it's Yoki Haru, but I won't swear to that.
Listen, that sounds right. And you are a better man than me now. You tried.
I gave it the effort. That's all I'm good for.
Another Ottawa trade. I didn't know this one happened.
Yeah.
I have thoughts on this because I don't know who came back from San Jose, but Noah Gregor, Leafs legend, who abandoned them and signed with Ottawa. Love it.
Ooh, hate to see it.
And Zach Ostachuk. Oh my god, I struggled on that. Normally I can say it. I can't say it tonight though. I struggled there. Mondo, best guess?
Oh, Obstachuk?
Yeah. That sounds more in line with what it was supposed to be, so good on you. I legitimately want to point at quiz night on Thursday by identifying in 2 seconds which U.S. state has a one-syllable name.
Ooh, I've been to that state. I went to that state last year, actually. It was a beautiful state. It was
You guys are
Maine.
making it up. There isn't one.
Maine had some great food. It was
Maine.
it was some great. It was foggy. Like it was too foggy. That was my only complaint. Everything else was awesome though. I'd go
Man,
back.
you just dunked on me, and we're not even talking about basketball.
Oh, I didn't mean to. I thought you were serving that up. I was like, oh, I got an
I was
easy
being
one.
legitimate.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was like, oh, this is my chance to make up for the Nylander gap. I'm not gonna miss this. It's my time to shine.
Yeah, just straight up dunked on me. That's good.
No, that was not the intent. No, I
love
thought
it.
you were serving me a softball.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the loftiest pitch I could have ever thrown. Now we're just mixing sports and nothing's gonna make sense.
No, it's touchdowns all the way down from here.
Totally. Don't miss wide. But can you name the state with a 2-syllable name? That's Utah.
Maine.
Maine. More Maine.
Good old double Maine. Who can forget double Maine?
That's 3 syllables.
Dang it. See? I had to take it. I had to go back to the well.
Mainer.
Go back to the well. Mainer.
Oh, that's good. Asher's like, you need to settle down over there. I'm upset.
Yeah, I'm seeing that look.
Yeah.
It's like it's a little much.
All right. So yeah, interestingly, that Ottawa adds more value on whoever they got back in Zetterlund and Robbins over Ostachuk, whose name I still can't say. Zach. We'll call him Zach. Zach is fine.
Like it's a good name.
From what I saw, he was one of like the fairly. I thought he was one of the touted prospects. Maybe he fell off a cliff somewhere and is no longer a touted prospect. Again, I had the great opportunity to see him play for the Vancouver Giants, and like any higher draft pick, he was dominant in the junior league. So guess it didn't translate, and they decided to move on from him.
Would you say that's fairly common that like you can just look and tell the guys like that's a future NHL player, kind of like a men among boys sort of situation?
Yeah, you definitely see that. Like, I don't know how much junior hockey you watch.
None.
Yeah,
To
but
be totally honest.
yeah, no, that's fair. But like, there's some like very strong leagues out here, and you see a lot of like really good players like going through development, and like obviously like the World Juniors are like the showcase for the best players, and yeah, you then go and watch them live and it's completely different. Like, because you see best on best juniors, no one really stands out except for like those really exceptional players. But when it's just like the NHL of junior hockey, which is, WHL, OHL, and QMJHL, that's like in Canada at least, that's like Western Hockey League, Ontario Hockey League, and Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. very easily see when a player is elevated and why they would be drafted um where they are. Because I think Zach was, I don't know if he was a first round pick. He might have been. Definitely like at worst a second round pick, but like he was on a good trajectory for progression. And yeah, just when it came down to it, it was better to have seasoned veterans or, like third or fourth year guys playing on a bad Ottawa team than it was to bring up a 19, 20-year-old kid and put him into a bad team, into a bad system. So they left him in the
Right.
minors and he just wrecked house. He was so good. Just big
It's
body.
yeah, it's that's I feel like that's at least physically just the type of today's NHL.
Mhm.
Like you have to have size, otherwise you're just going to get, manhandled by other players.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like, again, to go back to the Bedard factor, you just have enough skill, speed to be able to avoid a lot of that. But you're still gonna get, knocked over and people are gonna grab onto you and hold you up and all that stuff. So yeah, you have to be able to kind of deal with it. But yeah, Bedard's tiny. He's like 5'11", like 6 foot maybe, and like 180 pounds.
Yeah.
He's a child.
I remember a game he got injured. He might have got a concussion. Like he was just kind of, puck handling and didn't have his head up and ran right into a heavy check and I think he missed at least a little bit of time from that. But
Mhm.
at the very least, it's a lesson. Like, especially when you don't have the size, like you have to be able to maneuver around, and not get those hits because otherwise those guys are gunning for him.
Yeah. But like that's where you would see like, the truly exceptional players like Bedard, who goes into the NHL at 18 years old because he can literally do whatever he wants in the junior leagues. He can pick up a puck and go untouched end to end. Just no one
Yeah.
knows how to play physical against him at that age.
There's no further development for a player like that. There's
Yeah.
no benefit to keeping him down there
Yeah. Yeah.
for sure.
You need him to play at the right speed of the game at that point and learn those lessons and like hope that he doesn't get hurt too bad.
Yeah. That's the key. At least stay healthy enough so that when we are ready to make a cup run in through 2 to 3-ish years, that you're there and healthy and ready to be the center point of it.
Yeah, exactly. Also, big bodies, physical. That's Shady's type. That's who he's here for.
That was awesome.
All right. Enough about Ottawa and San Jose. We're done with them. Toronto, Pittsburgh. Ugh,
Again, we just did that.
right? We just talked about these teams. Interesting though. Toronto dropping another center. Scott Lawton is 2 centers now.
There are so many of them. This is just a bit. I feel like they're just doing a bit for
I
us.
think it's just a bit. I don't like this, Toronto. Can you stop?
Yeah, seriously.
But it looks like Connor Timmins is going out in favor of not Carlo coming in, which is interesting. I'm not sure what Carlo's contract is, but I'm pretty sure Connor Timmins has a very team friendly deal, probably in like sub 3 million per year deal, and he's been a fan favorite from everything I've seen. Good, solid stay at home defenseman. Really excelled in the playoffs last year. Can drop the gloves, can fight, protect his guys, throws big hits responsibly. Throwing big hits responsibly is the key.
Yes. If you're listening, kids, responsible hits.
Responsible hits. Don't give up position to throw a hit. That's the lesson from Coach Brad here.
It's just strategy talk at this point.
Right?
Take notes.
Yeah. And this is why I'm going to make it on the NHL Network.
That's true. That's true. This is the kind of punditry that they need.
Exactly. I can be the best pundit.
But you're absolutely right. Like the contract, it's he'll be a restricted free agent this year, but only a cost of 1.1 million.
Yeah,
He'll be
like,
due a raise, but it won't be a big raise as a restricted free agent.
yeah, like he's playing like I think he's playing like fifth or sixth defenseman, and there's no way he's going to make more than like 3 or 4 million a year, which is totally manageable as the salary cap goes up. Like I don't know, but I guess they wanted Brandon Carlo, and I guess Kyle Dubas, one of the guys that he drafted.
That is an interesting wrinkle, right? Like
Yeah.
he probably knows them better than most other people, so
Ooh, good Sioux
he knows the
Greyhound
diamonds
boys.
in the rough. The diamonds in the rough.
have you not heard that? Like Kyle Dubas only drafts people from Sioux Greyhounds.
No, I've not heard that.
So he was like before his gig in the NHL, he was the general manager of the Sioux Greyhounds. So he developed a lot of players. And then like within his first like 3 years, he drafted, traded for, or signed free agent Sioux Greyhound, like ex Sioux Greyhounds, and they had like 7 of them on the Leafs or something like that. It was stupid.
I mean, you got a type like
Yeah.
Shady has a type, and Kyle Dubas has a type.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. And then we have Penzer against Connors. Well, they got 1. They have 2 now.
Yeah.
Whether the
That's a
extra
lot
end
of-
matters. Oh, we're going into an ad? Gosh, we've been having so much fun.
No, it's been a blast.
I didn't even notice the ad. I need to get up for a minute. I don't know about you, but I need to get
Yeah.
some more water. I've been guzzling it down because we've been having so much fun.
Heck yeah, we can take a quick 5 and regroup.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll take a quick minute here, everyone. Go and grab some water yourselves, and we will be right back. Know how to do this in the right order with all my buttons on different size on different slides.
That'd
But
be
we're
so
back.
awesome.
We're back. We're doing it. I hope everyone de-sillied over the break. You were getting silly.
Yeah, because
No,
we're going
don't
into the
de-silly.
serious trades now.
Mhm.
There's no more room for laughs or shenanigans.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like we're past the Connors, and we're moving right into probably the most serious trade of two of the most sought after no names in the league.
Hold on to your hats. This is about no names, you say.
Not actually, but interesting. We have a trade here of a Ottawa Senator for a Toronto Maple Leaf.
I see that. I see that.
Yeah. So Eric Brandstrom, we're gonna add him onto the Anthony Bavillier support group list. And I think Nicholas Abe Kubel could probably be his big brother in that. If we're buddying up and partnering up. So interesting trade of a few, again, like not old. I don't think Brandstrom's really had an opportunity to kind of show what he can do in the NHL yet, and Abe Kubel has been a bit of a mainstay on some third and fourth lines around the NHL for a little bit. So
Yeah, both. Well, at least Brandstrom. Geez, Louise, can't speak all of a sudden. Brandstrom's only 25, so like you said, just hasn't really had time to mature yet. But some decent scoring from him.
yeah, and
He's flirted. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, like that's the thing. Like he came over to Ottawa in the Mark Stone deal. Um, and there again, he was a good player or good potential player playing on a bad team, and then you saw his value drop and his opportunity drop because Ottawa was doing so poorly. They ended up drafting above his potential, and he became expendable.
Yeah.
So interesting bit of the business there, I would say. In that sense, like you're able to, like you get a short window to prove yourself, and if you're playing on a bad team that's giving up a lot of goals, that isn't built properly, doesn't have the right systems in place to support a developing player, you might not have the opportunity that you think and you're gonna start jumping around because this is what his, I think, fourth team since Ottawa, third team since Ottawa.
Let's see for Brandstrom.
Yeah, I think it's his fourth.
It looks like the Canucks and the Sabres. Yeah, so only the second.
And the Rangers.
I would, and the Rangers. Yeah,
So third.
yeah.
Okay, so fourth including Ottawa. But like Vancouver, Rangers, Buffalo is all this year.
Right, which is wild.
And like prior to that, he was just kind of rotting away in like the Sens farm system, doing nothing.
Yeah, it's I guess for New York being a team that is kind of on the cusp of maybe possibly being a playoff team. Certainly had a really rough start, well below their means of what they should have been doing. Way underperforming. Abe Kubel is not going to be the piece that really moves the needle for them one way or the other.
No. He didn't do it in Toronto when they were doing their playoff push, and I don't think he's done it anywhere else. Like it was Pittsburgh before that, I think, and I don't think he really factored in either. You had Patrick Hornqvist who was leading the charge there.
Yeah, that good old Patrick Hornqvist, Patty Horns. Gotta love him.
All right,
But
let's move on to one of the better names on this list. In Adam Beckman. I tricked you.
And another
I tricked you.
I did. I was braced myself for like the big name, and then you hit me with the Adam Beckman. I'm like,
when obviously it's Cholowski.
yeah. That's we need the sassy input on that one,
right? Yeah, who is Dennis Cholowski? Or more importantly, who is Adam Beckman, who's going down the street to the New York Islanders? Since I've already proven I'm an expert of U.S. geography.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. I think it is right around the corner. I feel like can't be more than an hour away.
Yeah, I mean, like, I basically say that Kevin Smith is from New York Island, or is from New York Islanders.
Yeah.
Or
basically, it's
or whatever you would call that part of New York. I don't know.
Long Island, I guess.
Oh, Long Island. That's right. I was like, what is it? Is it like outside Manhattan? Which is technically correct.
Yeah. You're not wrong. So you're in the ballpark.
Technically correct. Bit of a stretch. I'll bear that one.
I'm looking at like the roster for the Devils and just trying to see where a Dennis Cholowski fits in. I feel like it's just pure depth.
Pure depth.
It seems like
a depth trade both ways.
And you do see that sometimes. Like, one team is bolstering depth in one area where they're maybe a little thin. The Islanders are not nearly as playoff viable, of course, as the Devils are this season. But maybe you look at your team and think, I could have another left-hand defenseman just in case of injuries or something happens. Yeah, I'll pick this guy up on the cheap.
I mean, check the stats. Did Lou Lamoriello draft Cholowski? Is he pulling a Kyle Dubas here?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's see.
I doubt it. Lou Lamoriello hasn't been the GM for the Devils in years.
He was drafted by the Wings apparently back in 2018. Yeah,
interesting. All right, well, we have a depth trade that we spent too much time on.
Hey, those are the trades that will win you Stanley Cups if like 3 guys get injured.
Totally. And Shady's confirming for me that Long Island doesn't actually exist. It doesn't have a name.
This is news to me. I'm kind of flabbergasted.
Gosh.
And is it really that long anyway? I mean, come on.
Right? Seem way longer islands.
Seriously, I'm telling you, Madagascar, like
totally.
super long.
God.
Oh,
that's false representation. Colorado doing Colorado things and bringing a Johnson in on defense.
Bringing him back, I think? Question mark.
Yeah,
he played with.
Was it Eric Johnson who played with them?
It was, yeah. He
Oh, maybe
was
it
maybe
wasn't Jack Johnson who responded on Twitter or whatever. It might have been Eric Johnson. That probably
Hmm.
makes more sense than Jack Johnson. I don't think Jack Johnson can unfortunately afford a phone.
Yeah, that's a very interesting story for a Wikipedia rabbit hole if
Right?
any of y'all are
Yeah.
interested.
If anybody has a whole lot of empathy and a good few hours, go read up on Jack Johnson, the hockey player.
Yeah, it is wild. He was done very, very dirty
Mhm.
by his parents of all
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
It was
So
crazy.
yeah.
But
Eric Johnson back to Colorado.
yeah,
I
it's
mean, they won a cup with him. They lost a cup without him.
it all adds up.
Does the math's right there?
Yeah. He's the kind of guy I feel like, and maybe you know more about his game than I do, but I don't feel like he's been a true contributor in a lot of ways for the last several years. But he's a veteran guy. He's a voice in the room. He's like you said, he's a guy who's been there, who's won with this team, and sometimes just that in and of itself is enough value to bring a guy in.
Yeah, 100%. Like a good locker room veteran is the reason why Ryan Reeves got to stay with the Maple Leafs for so long. Um, I think Eric Johnson can play bottom pair minutes or be a seventh defenseman who comes in every other game or every third game or can fill in if someone gets injured in the playoffs. I
Okay.
don't think he's a daily gamer like the rest of us who are daily gamers and we rock at them. Um,
We're very good.
good. Um, Sassy's gonna head out. Also, good night, Sassy. First of all,
I
have a wonderful sleep. Shady says in Australia there's a place called 80 Mile Beach and it's 140 miles long.
Brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
I think they missed the conversion to kilometers there. Does that math check out? It's what 1.6 or no? It's 2.2, isn't it? The switch, I think.
That sounds right. Yeah.
It's kilometers to miles is 1.6, and then miles to kilometers I think is 2.2 or something like that. I don't know.
I believe it.
I'm not here to do math. I've been in other streams tonight, and I've been saying how much I hate calculus and math. So I can't.
Thankfully, there's not a stitch of math in hockey.
Hopefully they don't ask me to show a derivative.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'd be cooked. There's
I'm
no
here to do
chance.
geography, not math.
Exactly. We have more Maines and Utahs to talk about.
Excuse me, I'm having too much fun. I need to have some water.
There you go. Oh my goodness.
All right. Your Nashville
I've been
Predators.
stalling this whole time to try to think of something good to say about Eric Johnson, but I'm glad you're moving on because I had nothing more. I was tapped out.
Yeah. He's the Johnson with money. Got it.
Yeah.
Can't rehash that again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jack Johnson. You're not a bad person. You just had so many things that are so easy to make fun of. Nashville picking up a 2026 fifth round pick for who I can only assume is going to make or break the Carolina Hurricanes this year at center. Leafs in shambles. They didn't get to pick him up, but you tell me about this. Who's Mark Jankowski?
So Mark Jankowski, a guy who's been in the league for about 8 or 9 seasons or so, had a stint with Calgary, had a few year stint with us. He's just kind of a guy. Like he scored some pretty cool looking goals for us,
Mhm.
but he's not anyone that is probably going. If he does play for Carolina, he would play on the fourth line just pretty squarely. And I don't even know that he would crack the fourth line on that Carolina squad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
Rantanen barely did, so I can't assume that Jankowski would.
It's a tough barrier out there in Raleigh.
But
Um,
on a scale of Jankowski to Chalowski, which how many Beckmans do we get?
3.5 Beckmans.
3.5 Beckmans. Perfect.
I thought this was the serious trade. I thought this was the one.
Right.
We're blowing it. We're so sorry, everyone.
Straubs, thank you for the gift sub. Oh, Mondo, thank you for the gift sub. What?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I
don't know what to
didn't.
say.
What? Oh, continuing the gift sub they got from
Yeah.
Mondo. Oh my gosh. Straubs,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I can't read. I struggle with that. We're trying to work through names and I can't do it. But Straubs, how was your stream? What else? What'd you play after Poppy something? Also, quite apt that you show up after we once again slammed calculus for being bad. I appreciate that. Maybe you
Oh,
heard
is-
that and that's why you resubbed.
Oh, is Straubs also not a fan of calculus?
Yeah, Straubs is Straubs was set up for failure with the course that she took in calculus. She didn't have a strong instructor to guide her through the challenges that she would face. And I would say that when she retakes it, she's going to succeed beyond not only her own expectations, but you know what? I don't even want to say the next bit because I don't want to set expectations for Straubs from me, but I know you're going to do great.
All I would say is that if it's Straubs versus calculus, I don't want to be calculus.
100%.
That's all I'm throwing out there.
You know what? You said that way more eloquently than me, and this is why it works.
It's a team effort,
It is. Like you saw me dig a hole and you're like, let's lower a bucket so he can sit in it awkwardly and I can pull him up.
I got you.
Anyways, we're done with the Jankowskis and the Chalowskis, and we know that we get 3.5 Beckmans. I'm sorry for the math.
I think that's the right conversion. I think that works.
I saw a calculus running out the room a moment ago, and they had to pee, and they had pee all down their pants. See, Straub shows up, and calculus is shaking his little baby booties.
Shaking.
So
Scared.
makes sense. Speaking of being scared, Sprong sounds kind of like scared, and we have a Daniel Sprong trade to New Jersey.
His name sounds so familiar. Was he? Nope, that wasn't him.
Honestly, I think that there is someone else in the NHL whose last name is Sprong, and I think he's a defenseman, and I think he's way better than this Daniel Sprong.
Tyrone Sprong, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
I guessed a name. I figured there was a chance. Had to give it a shot. Yeah, this is a player for a 7th round pick. I'm going to guess without looking it up that this is another depth pickup for the Devils. And not a make or break pick, but an important depth pick. Like
Yep.
every single piece, you never know when your number's going to get called.
Yep, totally. And I'm sure he's going to wear the classic number 56 on the New Jersey Devils. Actually, he won't. I don't think he will. I don't think that's allowed in Lou Lamoriello's hockey team.
Oh, does he only like the lower numbers?
Yeah, you can have up to like number 30.
Oh. Because after that, it's just too flashy,
Right?
Like you're just making it about yourself if you wear a number
100%.
like 61.
Yeah, like why are you even a team player?
Clearly not.
I wanna reinforce Straubs here. When I was in college not too long ago, I had to take a business finance class, and I struggle very hard with math tests. Like, I fully understand how to read statement of accounts, cash flow statements. I'm really great with Excel. I can do all that stuff. It all makes sense when I'm doing it practically. I almost failed that course on the back of the midterm and the final. On the final, going into the final, I was like, I'm okay. I have a high enough grade right now where I can get, I think it was something like, I can get 38% on this final and I'm fine. And I'm pretty sure I got 41% on the final.
Oh my gosh.
And as soon as I saw the test, I was like, we're done. I don't know. I have no idea. And like, luckily again, because practically I can do the work, but you put me in a pressure situation of writing a test and I like freeze up, I blank, I don't understand questions. Just like I can't turn words into numbers in that sense, but like practically it's like here's a whole spreadsheet. Turn data into what I need and I can do that easy, no problem. But then they say your manager asked you to find blah 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 and gave you this number and you have to figure out how to do it with one specific formula that we taught you. Blank. No idea. But anyways, I did pass it. It brought down my GPA. I hated it. But then I never had to take another finance course, so I was like, we're done. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Just run away screaming, never look back.
Yeah. I was right there with you, Straubs. I've been there, I lived it. I can empathize with you. We talked about the importance of empathy earlier.
Yeah, it's clutch.
Very
It's
briefly.
clutch.
Very briefly.
That's the key to calculus, truly, is empathy.
Yeah, 100%. And briefly. Do it briefly. Depth right winger. I don't know.
Yeah, I forgot that this was hockey stuff.
Yeah, we're doing hockey. Straubs isn't here for more math talk. She's like us. We're here for geography and hockey.
That's it. That is it. And we've got a stunner right here, right in front of us.
Calc 1 in the summer, Calc 2 in the fall, then Calc 3, then statistics in that order. I like statistics. This is like, honestly, statistics might be a nice little palate cleanser for you somewhere in there.
Yeah,
If
take
you
it
have to take
between
them
2
all.
and 3.
Yeah. If you have to take them all. Might feel a nice little palate cleanser. Oh, stats. Statics? How's that different than statistics?
Statics. Wow, that's on a different level altogether.
Okay. All right. I'm wrong.
Yikes.
That sounds
Oof.
terrible, I guess. It sounds terrible. I agree with you.
Are you studying to be a mathematician?
So if I remember correctly, Straubs is a civil engineer.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
You would definitely need those
Nailed it.
calculations in the engineering of the civics.
Yep. So if you're a civil engineer, why are you doing calculus? What's your next step here? What are you trying to get to? Just out of curiosity, I don't think I've had this conversation with you.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I would think there would be some pretty in-depth like calculations for like some of the planning type stuff.
I guess that could be it. If you're a civil engineer more on like the planning side versus the practical like technical side, maybe that could be the transition.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I work with a lot of planning engineers.
I think that'd be an interesting like not industry, but an interesting field to be in, just like planning civil engineering. Like it's I guess one of those weird things that you look at and think, oh, this is really interesting, but I'm not sure why. Like that's always been like civil engineering for me.
Oh, going for a master's, but I'm at the beginning, so I'm needing to do my bachelor's and master's, and I'll be taking my PE exams to get my stamp. The Piang.
Awesome. Heck
Yeah, awesome. I'm very happy to have met you at the beginning of this journey, and I look forward to seeing you succeeding. Project engineer right now, so a project manager in a sense. I'm the PM for M&T Bank Stadium in MD, and we're doing structural steel. Ooh, that sounds super cool.
I have some good friends that took in a football game there just a few months ago.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't understand the M&T Bank Stadium in MD. Is that like mained? Is that our other single?
It is indeed. Yeah, that's the third one syllable state.
Boyfriend's a civil engineer, Maryland. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Straubs. We were doing a callback to an earlier joke. You had to be here.
Yeah, like you can flip a coin and you're probably going to land on a bit that we've done tonight.
Sassy's gone. You just want to skip this other New Jersey Devils because this isn't Scott Lawton, it's Mark McLawton.
It's the same dude. I mean, it's like an alias. It has to be.
All right.
And a bad alias at that.
Yeah.
It's like who are you fooling, Mark?
Right? Mark with a C. Camark.
This guy. Not fooling me, Scott.
Right.
Go back to Toronto where you belong.
Right? Just looked ahead actually. And I think we're coming up to the end here with
wow.
the most impactful and highly sought after player that we've seen tonight. Future consideration. Second time being traded.
It's just that you are a superstar when you can garner this much activity from this many teams. Like Future Considerations has played for every single team in the league.
Yeah,
Multiple times in some
like,
cases. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, though, I think Luke Shen has been traded more tonight than Future Considerations.
I think you're right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's it's another center to the Leafs is really the main takeaway.
God, the memes just keep coming.
Like I'm gonna do a count, like because at first this was just like a joke, but now it's like they probably have 9 centers on the roster.
100%, yeah.
It's
I mean, like,
absurd.
yeah, they sent 2 out, but like they brought in a good 6 or 7, like at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Their center diff is like they're at a +4 centers for the deadline.
Yeah, 100%. Oh man. Well, I think we beat that Future Considerations horse dead. We struggled through it.
It's such a good gag though,
right?
It's one I hope and I hope we do this next year because this was super fun. But if we do, like, there will be more Future Considerations jokes. There will be more Toronto Maple Leafs have 1,000 centers jokes.
I think
we will go back to these wells.
You know what? Like, we have a full year of being able to write down little things from the season that we can reference back to. We can definitely not refer back to this. What was I gonna say? Oh my god, I just lost my train of thought. All right, we're moving on. I don't know. I was gonna say something that was gonna be inspirational, I think.
It was poignant. I'm imagining whatever it was very poignant.
Hope so.
I mean, we went through like 40 trades. Like our brains have to be mush by now.
Totally. I mean, here's the thing. I was gonna play some Balatro after, but I think instead, I don't want to sully the great thing we had going here tonight. Maybe this is where I was going with that other one. I think I just kind of like put myself into a corner of trying to say something positive, and it turned out negative, and I just stopped, which I do sometimes. I don't know if I want to sully like this excellent VOD and play some Balatro on top of it. I think what I do want to ask, favorite trade of the night, I feel like I know it, but
yeah,
now that we've gone through them, what was your favorite trade of the night?
My favorite trade was the Brandon Tanev trade for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the most impactful trade for the team that he went to, but I do think it was my personal favorite.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
Seeing someone return to a team where he's comfortable can make a good impact. Not fantastic like you're saying, but like he will be a solid player for them, and like for their playoff push will for sure help out. Just for reference, This right here, the Brandon Tanev to the Winnipeg Jets, first place team in the league for not much. Like they're not giving up much. Second round pick in 2027. That's 2 years away. That's nothing. Who cares about that pick?
Exactly. Yeah. Whenever you can get a piece like that for a not significant asset that is several years off, like you've won. You've
Yeah,
won that trade running
100%.
away.
100%. I'm trying to think what mine was. I mean, I was too much into the memes, I'll be honest.
There were so many memes. It was
Oh,
so good.
there was so much. Honestly, like I know it's like low hanging fruit, but I really love this trade for Carolina. I don't know. Like you give a team that's coached by Rod Brindamore a player who, you know what, maybe is pretty reminiscent of Rod Brindamore. Like he's a smaller guy like Logan Stankoven, but I see him as a power forward in the league. Like he takes that, like he goes hard into the boards, he goes into the corners, he can drive the net. I see him as that kind of player, and if you have someone coaching you who knows how to play that way, he's only going to get better. And like I don't like this for Dallas. Like just on the sense of like you're bringing in a superstar that has the full potential of messing up chemistry and wanting to play on a top line where you have three guys going pretty regularly, or putting him on a second line where he doesn't have the right talent around him. I think Carolina won this like hands down. I don't care what the real analyst pundits say. I think this is a really great move for Carolina that sets them up for the coming couple years.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, this was considering what they initially gave up to get Mikko Rantanen in the first place.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, you didn't sign the guy, and bringing the guy in, the whole purpose at first was to sign him rather. But I feel like that was like they made out better than if they had just signed Mikko Rantanen to an extension. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, you have a proven point getter, but like he hasn't been doing that for you, so something's off. He's not going to resign. Take someone to the cleaners. Go for it.
And they did. I would love to see what some of the other offers were. I mean, I'm certain this was the best offer, but I don't know if there may be other players that were involved, because Dallas was certainly not the only team that was in on Mikko Rantanen.
I'm not sure if it was. I think I saw that, and I mean like preface. You would get fired as a GM if you didn't call Carolina to see what it would take
For sure.
to get Rantanen onto your team, regardless of anything else. Like, what is the asking price? And what I think I saw, the only one I saw, because TSN is Toronto based and they only talk about Toronto, I saw that Carolina had asked for Matthew Nyes, which would have been, I think, a terrible move by Toronto. And I think that Treliving would have been run out of the city if he did that.
Oh, without question.
Yeah. Like, he
Yeah.
would get the full Kyle Dubas treatment.
Yeah, it's like you said, like just because Mikko Rantanen's a great player, and he is a great player, don't get me wrong, but he's not a great player for every team in every situation.
Yeah,
He would
like,
not be a great player for the Maple Leafs.
no, just
There's no way.
complete wrong fit for what they have going on there. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, he doesn't fit into a top line, and he doesn't replace what Matthew Nyes brings. I get, like, on a line with Matthews. Like, yeah, he would go on the first line, but you don't need two shooters on that top line. You don't need three shooters on that top line, because I think Nylander plays with Matthews more often now, doesn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, they moved like Marner down to the second line.
Which is a heck of a 1-2 punch. Like, where do
Totally.
you put Mikko Rantanen in there? Like, you can't have a 1-2-3 punch. There just aren't enough goals to score
Yeah.
for everyone.
Totally. So yeah, I think I don't want to talk about Toronto, but I think if that was the actual ask, they were right to walk away. I think Dallas making a choice to bring in someone like Rantanen to sacrifice again a potential first line center / perennial second line center is an interesting move. But yeah, I don't know. I like it for Carolina. I think this was, again, like low hanging fruit as far as like what are good trades. But I just like unpacking it, it feels way better for Carolina.
Way better. Yeah. Like Dallas is now stuck with Mikko Rantanen, and like you said, if he doesn't fit with Dallas, because Dallas has a lot of shooters too.
Mhm.
Maybe not quite to the caliber of Toronto, but they have a lot of guys who want to score the puck on, at least on the top 2 lines, if not the top 3 lines.
Yeah. I'm getting
Like
it wrong. I'm confusing Will Smith, but it's Wyatt Johnson, who's like the young kid.
oh yeah.
That's behind like Jason Robertson. But yeah,
Yeah,
like
Wyatt Johnson is filthy. He
yeah,
is to develop into, and Jason Robertson is no slouch either.
yeah, Jason Robertson's like unbelievable for that team. Like he's doing great things.
Yeah.
But like, what are you gonna like? I guess Jamie Benn's not gonna be there much longer. I guess.
Probably not. He's aging out rapidly.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Whew.
It'll be interesting.
I think that's the most talking I've ever done on stream.
Yeah, this is the odd stream where there's like not a game to like, fall back on.
Yeah, like, man. Or like, I don't know, for me, because it's not always just like one-on-one, like usually it's a lot more of like, because like Chris and Tim will be here. And like before we used to play with like Moose as well. So like having 3 people gives you like that little bit more dynamic where someone can stay silent for a bit and it's not awkward silent.
Right. Yeah, and that Chris and Tim are just going to break out into song at any moment.
Oh,
So like that
100%.
gives you at least like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I can definitely like take a breath.
Oh man. But
Yeah.
this was a blast, dude.
Yeah,
I really appreciate the invite to this. This was awesome.
Yeah, I think we need to put it in the calendar for next year.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And
It's locked
then
in.
I'll just leave a notebook on my desk of all the funny things that I think are funny that aren't actually funny, but they're hockey related.
I'll just study by watching a bunch of Steve Dangle videos the night before we go.
Ugh. I hate Steve Dangle. God.
He's so tuned into the world of hockey, though.
Sure. Shady. I've never listened for so long about a sport I know nothing about, and not even the games. Right? Like, it's just good dynamic, man. I'm so lucky that Mondo said yes at the last minute.
I was stoked too. I was stoked too.
Yeah. And we had Asher representing you on the screen, and now he's gone. So, here comes Moira.
Ooh, Armando will now be played by Moira. I'd be so lucky,
AKA, this is like Moira's the Nickery to your Asher.
I love that analogy. That's so good.
We got the lore, so I can't unthink it now. Like,
yeah, it's canon. I mean,
Yeah.
what can we do?
I don't know. Before we wrap here, and I think we are gonna wrap here because it's been 2.5 hours or a little bit more than that. I was watching the new season of Reacher.
Oh, how's that so far?
It's pretty good, but there's one scene where the camera does really weird things, and it's like I understand why they do it. It's to like really show off. Like, I don't know. Have you seen any ads for it or anything? Do you follow it
Just
at all?
ads. Yeah, I haven't watched the show, but I have seen a few trailers for it.
So have you seen the trainer or the trailer? How there's this like giant of a man.
Does not ring a bell.
Okay, well,
Maybe I have, but yeah, it doesn't ring a
well,
bell.
Alan Richson himself. He's like 6'4", like 280, just a beast of a man.
Holy crap.
Moira, stop. Get out. Get. I'm talking here. And they have this character who dwarfs him, like makes him look tiny. I don't know. He must be like 7'2", probably like 350 pounds of just muscle.
Jeez Louise.
He's just a behemoth of a man. And there's this one scene, and I took a screenshot, but I didn't send it to you, and I should have. I might go back and do it now. But they had this like monster of a man walking next to not even Alan Richardson, but like a normal sized person who you've seen against Alan Richardson.
Yeah.
And this normal sized person comes up to like this monster's elbow.
My gosh.
And it's like and like they do it in such a way where also like they use kind of like a forced perspective where the big guy is also walking in front of him. So it looks even weirder, and it looks like I don't know how to show it, but like this, and then the guy's like this big, and it looks really weird.
Yeah, I found a couple of pictures of the really tall dude online, and yeah, that is a tree trunk. That's like
Yeah.
a large tree. That's
Yeah.
not a
He's-
human. That is wow.
I don't understand how people can be that big. Like he's my opposite height. I am 5'7". He's probably 7'5".
Yeah, I think you're 7 something for sure. The rare person that I would have to look up to.
As a 7'2", 300-pound muscle tree myself, I don't understand what you're on about.
I thought we all were. I thought that was just the norm.
Sorry, I meant to say I was 7'5", not 5'7". I'm doing a weird thing with my camera where it's really zoomed out, and I'm just that big. I'm just that huge.
It's all about the lens choice, you know.
Mhm.
When you're that size, like there's no other way to fit in the whole frame.
Yeah, I'm using my nifty 50 that can't be zoomed. I'm just that big, and I fill the screen.
I kept thinking like there's another like photography joke in there, but I'm not a photographer and I don't know what it is.
It's okay. Just
So
say
we'll-
anything. It's fine.
F-stop. That's as good as I was gonna get.
I think that's how we end. You just say F stop, and then we cut.
Perfect. Fitting end to this show for sure.
Yeah. Also, Straubs likes hockey players. Who doesn't like hockey players?
That's true.
As a goalie, I've heard I'm a keeper.
Oh my god. Incredible. Gotta save those for next year, man.
No. We got a year. They'll forget.
That's true. Yeah, run it back next year. See if anyone remembers.
Oh yeah, 100%. But like, I can now turn that around and like use it on the next goalie that gets traded.
That's true.
Clipped. Oh no. She's gonna remember.
Well,
it's there for life.
crap. Shouldn't have said anything.
Right? Thank you for the clip, Straubs.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Rule of thirds: 1/3 legs, 1/3 abs, 1/3 bicep.
That's the one.
Yeah. I don't know how you were able to describe me so accurately there, Shady.
Yeah, it's like Shady was in the room with you. That's
Right?
so wild.
Right? All right.
Amazing.
We've said F stop a couple times. I really don't want to take up any more of your time. I again totally appreciate you being here. Also Moira's driving me nuts now, so I want her to stop barking at me.
No, thank you. This was awesome.
Yeah. So much fun. Hey, that's so rude. So yeah. Thank you everyone for hanging out, being here, even if you didn't like hockey. Good night, Shady. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Have a great Sunday. Thank you, Straubs. I was lurking over in yours, so thank you so much for the stream as well. I really appreciate you coming back and doing things online. But looking forward to catching you some more. Y'all, before you go, I don't think I did this today, and that's on me. We need to shout out Neighbor Goals. Neighbor Goals
so
is Mondo and his partner Nickery. They stream right now every Wednesday, and then they confuse you sometimes by going live on Saturdays, and you think it's Wednesday. Maybe that's just me. They are fantastic people, as you probably heard how great Mondo is tonight. And go give them a follow. Go check them out. They have a cat cam if cats are more your thing.
If the cats participate, which is not a constant.
We do follow Oakley to the ends of the earth and Cult of the Lamb.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. But yeah, go give them a follow. Hang out over there. I always hang out there on Wednesdays as best I can. Yeah, and we'll do this again next year, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get some more collabs going and do some more fun things together.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and thank you so much for the shallow or the shallow to Fady. The follow to Shady is what I was trying to say.
Just put it all together. It's fine.
Yeah. Shallow to Fady.
Yeah.
But no, thank you. That's very kind.
Yeah.
And thank you for the kind words, Casual.
Oh, 100%. You're one of my favorite people I met this year.
Oh, same, dude. Absolutely same.
Heck yeah. All right. I should have started the raid. Are we gonna raid?
Oh, good question.
You got someone we can raid into? Oh, we got a Cater ending.
I am not sure. I'm going to find out.
Because it would be nice to go in and say hi to Cater really quick. Honestly, I never know because she's always on just chatting.
Yeah, she is.
Head note.
I am. Yeah, as far as I know, but I'm not 100% certain. So I know it's a little bit later for her, but
Yeah.
I know she's doing community games tonight, so it might be a little bit of a later stream.
Okay. You know what? At the very least, I guess we'll get a raid train.
There you go. Absolutely.
Streamer in timeout. See you soon. Oh, she's going for a bit then. If she's in timeout.
Oh, sounds like yeah.
Okay. We're gonna start the raid. We're gonna go over and see Cater. I met Mondo through Cater, and by extension, I met Mondo and Cater through Asher because I had the camera up with the puppy on it, and that's how we got all this. So, go give Cater a follow, and definitely do that because she's awesome. I do need to say thank you to Tim, Black Magic, and Straubs for re-upping their subscriptions and hanging out here more. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate the support. And yeah, I think that's it. Final thoughts?
Hockey is awesome, and for y'all who have not watched it, just watch a game on TV, or even better, go watch it live. I think you will enjoy what you see, maybe more than you think. So give it a try.
I'm gonna do one more thing. Discord link. Prime Video does free games on Monday nights. Come hang out in Discord. We can watch a game maybe.
Yeah, I think that'll be a blast.
I know we have anime night though, so maybe not.
Yeah.
But we'll figure something out.
Maybe there's a hockey anime.
Yeah, maybe.
It's
There
gotta
probably
be.
is.
Oh my god, I'm on it.
Oh my gosh, Manta's here for the raid. Did I push the raid button?
Yo,
I don't know.
Perfect timing.
There's the things. Or just go say hi, raid. All right, bye everyone. See you later.
Bye.